I wish I could.
And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 184. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great weekend as well. And in this episode of the MSK show, we are going to be doing a comic book review on Absolute Batman #4 in a little bit from now on. And we'll also be talking about DC Comics getting huge order numbers for Hush 2 that is coming out literally at the end of March 2025. So normally you guys, see me do this kind of Friday show with a Last Comic Fan. But a few weeks prior to this, he was like, MSK, I can't be on Fridays anymore. My wife, wants to start taking me out. She wants to start driving me around in our Lamborghini and going out to Vegas. And he was like, MSK, I need a 2-week vacation from you. So then I was like, you know what? Warren said he's free. And Warren, crazy enough, likes comic books as well. So I was like, Warren, you can come on, take his place for 2 weeks. It's like when like a character in a TV show gets like recasted for a few episodes and turns out they weren't recasted because they just didn't want to be there. They just fucking quit, kind of, So Warren came in for 2 episodes and he was like, you know what? I kind of like being here. I'm getting full benefits, full pay. I can just make all the money I need just doing these shows. And then Laughs was like, I'm coming back, MSK. I never left you like your dad. So that's how we ended up here. But then we all ended up basically kind of like reviewing the same shit. And we're all, literally going through the absolute, titles right now for DC. So that's how we all have this now in common.
None of this sounds like anything I would ever say.
What are you talking about? This was
all I said was I'm on a different work schedule. I don't want to be awake for 27 hours.
Oh, that was what you said. It wasn't the fact that, you apparently bought a new Lamborghini and wanted to kind of test it out.
How rich do you think I am?
Okay. Hypothetically, since you're white, I think I know what car you drive. You have a Chevy, don't you?
Nope.
One of those, You one of those Ram guys?
Nope.
Oh,
you were close when you said the first car.
Okay.
Not Chevy. You said I was driving my Lamborghini.
Oh, God damn. Corvette. You have a Corvette? Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah.
No, my wife has one.
Oh my God. Dang it. You got your wife a Corvette.
I don't drive anything.
You got your wife a Corvette.
I work downstairs in my basement. Where am I driving? I don't have friends. Have you talked to me for 5 minutes?
It's crazy. This man's like, I bought my wife a Corvette. I'm like, you know what?
I still didn't say that I bought her one. You just keep saying that.
Well, turns out maybe I bought my wife a Corvette. How about that might be the thing?
Right.
And then I bought myself a Lamborghini after my crypto business launch.
She has a vet, and our family car is a Buick Encore. It's like a SUV looking thingamajiggy, but it's really nice.
Yeah. Sorry guys. Outside of all the jokes we have here, the reason I wanted to ask you that was because since you pay for a vehicle, do you think insurance is a scam, like car insurance, essentially? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Yeah, most people that have cars will say that.
Dude, the bigger scam is house insurance. You want to know why? So since living in a house, I've had to replace like a water heater, all these other things. You know what's never covered in house insurance? The shit that you fucking break in your house. Never covered. And then if your house gets broken into, right? They're like, well, to adjudicate this claim, we need pictures. And I was like, oh, because that's what I do. I take pictures of my stuff that in case it gets stolen. Like, what is wrong with you people?
I had pictures. It was on the computer they took.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Oh gosh. But yeah, guys, Lunchbox Warren will be here, or at least when we're reviewing, the same books. And don't worry, I have us on the same books for a while, because after we finish Absolute Batman, since Hush is coming out the final week of March, we're going to do that Hush reviews that you talked about. So Hush comes out on the week of the 23rd to the 29th.
Yeah, is it like the 25th or something?
Yeah, so on Tuesday before Comic Book Wednesday, we're gonna review the first Hush trade. So Warren, if you have the first Hush trade, we're gonna review that, and then hopefully, maybe by the time I do another comic book haul, we're gonna be able to at least do a review of Heart of Hush. Then we can just go straight into 158, because technically that's Hush 3 anyway. But good old Jim Lee. You know what I noticed? I have the Hush omnibus over there. Good old Jim Lee. Maybe he wasn't very happy that Paul Dini got the chance to write on the sequel to Hush, actually, because Heart of Hush is not collected in the Hush omnibus at all.
Well, I think there's certain people out there that think it's better, right?
Oh, you can't have that. Oh no,
well, there is. There are. I'm not saying it's me. I think Hush as a story itself is massively overrated, but it's still good. Something that's good can still be overrated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's it's still great. It's still, in my opinion, like, it's Jim Lee art. Like, think of like All-Star Batman and Robin, right? You look at that art, and there's no business with crazy Frank Miller at the time, right? If you want some fun, go look at the notes that Frank Miller sent to Jim Lee about drawing the stuff, like the Black Canary part. He's like, oh yeah, Jim, get right up in there in her thigh. Show that badass thigh. That's Black fucking Canary. Yeah, right up there, right in the panties. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? So like, you had crazy books like that, but like, obviously the art is unbelievable.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's Jim Lee. I mean,
well,
can't really complain.
So I was saying, speaking of comic book artists that have basically DC going absolutely nuts. So we're not going to go over the book yet, but in these Absolute books, some of the Batman ones, there have been these ads about Black Canary Best of the Best, which is a mini series written by Tom King.
Of course it is.
Yeah. The last thing I want is women being written by that guy. I have not read a lot of his stuff, but I've heard and seen a lot of it. That guy's weird. I'm just pointing out, I don't want that guy writing any woman story, actually. But I did hear he did do a good job of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I'll do a good little deep dive on Tom King at some point, guys, very soon, when I'm not busy and work kills me. Actually, we would have started the show like literally 30 minutes earlier, but I got home late because I had to do so much stuff, and then I read the book late, and then that's what caused the show to be late. And then I had to like literally take a 30-minute nap because my eyes were so fucking sore. I was like, damn, if I go on show right now, I will die literally in front of these men.
Sore eyes.
Yeah, you never had sore eyes before?
I mean, I've used eye drops, but I've never had them be like, damn, dude, if I don't sleep, my eyes will not be correct for the camera in front of me.
God.
I've been awake for 22 hours, bro. Like,
not working. My eyes.
Yeah. Working.
Hey, I want to be fresh and good looking, and I put my face on for you guys.
I don't think you can help that.
Oh shit! I don't think God can work miracles.
30 minutes of rest.
No, you're just always good looking.
Thank you. See, now he's finally getting my jokes. But so, Warren, what's up, man? How are you doing? You having a good day?
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I've been up since 5 in the morning, and I went to bed at like 2 in the morning. So.
Oh no, that's the worst.
That's what I did.
God, man,
got to get artwork done. So
I didn't have to do that, but I had to work. But yeah, sucks.
Damn work. I think all of us did. Like I got up at 5. No, I got up at 6 to be out of the door at 7. So I go to work. You got up at 5. You got up at 5. All of us got up like at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Holy
no!
Shit.
I get up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Really? You were insane.
I have to work at 5. On the days that I gotta do like anything more than 12 hours, I gotta start at 5 because the people in front of me, they're on West Coast time, and I gotta get working before they get on, because as soon as they get on, man, it's meetings after meetings after meetings, and it's just like, dude, can I just get the work done?
Yeah.
I just want to get the goddamn work done.
Like, how many of those useless business meetings do you always end up being in?
I probably, I'm not joking, about 4 a day.
Oh, Jesus.
And there's
Jeez,
one, we have one a week for our department, and it's like it starts at 2:30 Eastern, right? And it's always says 33 minutes because whatever. That shit lasts for like 2 fucking hours. And I'm like one of 3 dudes in there. And you look in, it's like 77 people in this like Microsoft Teams meeting, and it's like 2-3 dudes, and it's just nonstop. So what I do, like I did last week, is I watched Terminator 2. I just muted myself.
oh my god, man! Like, man, I would hear horror stories about like basically there's these you work like online. And then these higher ups just basically want to have just random meetings. It's like, hey, we should have a meeting for what? Oh, we should just have a meeting. If we're having meetings, it should be like maybe because like half the work team is not getting the job done, or maybe we can find a way to make production faster. What's the point of just having useless meetings? Just because it happens at my job too. Like freaking bosses are going and having these meetings like I think once a Monday every few months. Like there's nothing new being learned here. It's the same shit.
No, yeah, I don't get it, because all it does is like take you away, especially what I do and having to talk with people. It's like, dude, if you're keeping me here, I can't be on the phone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I imagine it's even harder to multitask. Like you're on the phone talking to someone while you're freaking got another person.
I can't. No, they can't, because the way
Yeah.
that the government phone line works is it's directly you connected to a satellite, and it's called a NICE, and you're talking on an actual headset that they send you.
I think managers just need to feel like they're doing something, so they had meetings.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're like, yeah, I had 4 meetings today, and I directed them.
Oh, 100%. I can attest to that, because like, dude, when I was managing, you know what my meetings were? I would call the person and be like, hey, you need anything? No, you're doing a good job. Bye. And they'd be like, your department gets so much done. I'm like, yeah, no shit, because I'm not fucking up their asshole all day.
Yeah. Having Michael Scott meetings every 5 minutes,
Exactly. Oh gosh, man. Who's in the chat? Hi Emily. Hi Ram. Hi Garatina. Hi Sparkles. And Miss Sparkles is always taking L's, everyone. Just she's a constant L generator at these points now. Sparkles, you need to get a W.
Some awesome artwork behind you, Warren. Check it out.
Oh, thank you.
Pretty sweet.
Ooh.
This one right here is Ryan Otley.
Okay.
I met him at Rose City Con, and this other stuff is mine.
Ooh.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. I wish I had any talent that way.
This is one I did recently of Jeff the Shark.
Oh, I've seen the shark that's in Marvel Rivals. Yeah, that's been popping off. Everyone just loves Jeff the Shark. God.
Nina from Creature Commandos.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. Wow.
And then one of the Elric brothers from
Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah.
So I had this one show where I did with the shark thing, right? You know how there's always that character that doesn't do anything really, but it's like it could be anything, a turtle, and everybody's like, turtle guy for president. Fucking yeah, man. If he dies or something happens, we're gonna riot. And it's like, fucking, it does nothing. Why? That's Jeff the Shark.
Yes.
But he does do stuff in the game, because I know like that goddamn shark hits me and I'm like, fuck. Or is that shark guy or whatever that is?
Oh, he's a monster, a terror on the game. Like,
yeah,
they nerfed him a bit, but it used to be he could swallow up like a whole team.
Yeah,
and then his little ass would just jump off.
Drops
the side.
me off the side of the level.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. I thought I was right. I was like, my friends tried to get me to play this game, and I'm like, I suck at it. And they play, and I'm like, hey, I just got picked up by a shark and dropped off a mountain.
Yeah.
But it shows that they can create new characters that can get people kind of excited about their company. Like that shark character has been like a lot of people going, hey, can he get something like an animated show, like some shorts, something like that? It shows that they're not like
movie. He's going to show up on a movie soon. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Deadpool movie or something along those lines. But you're going to see Jeff the Shark sometime in the future. He's too popular.
They can, of course, make new characters. The comic realm, it's just that like they don't want to put the time in, because as soon as that one issue happens where it doesn't sell, they're like, oh, it's failed. It's failed. It's
No,
failed.
that's DC.
Or
Marvel does, let's give you 10 issues, but then let's reboot it again back to number 1. They give you 5 more.
Yeah, but if they did that, then we would have all these new characters popping off. That's what I'm saying. Like, they just don't. They just don't. Like, they don't have faith in it, because if it's not attached to, say, a massive character, you know, then yeah. Like, I remember whenever I was in your chat the other week, and I put Harold Allnut in there, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And I was like, "You don't remember Batman's little mechanic in freaking?"
Oh, you lit the chat up. Guys, when Laps is in the chat when he's not on shows, don't fall for this man's propaganda. This man be going insane. This man had to chat wild and with some of his comments. This man was putting out, I know, and I agree with you too, but it was more like, remember how you said you only really kind of follow like original characters for the most part, unless the other one that has the mantle is interesting. I was thinking about this really hard. I think DC has done it the best way you can with having a character follow another character that already has a mantle, so to speak, like Wally West, Terry McGinnis, the Green Lantern, so to speak, right? There's a few examples, but there's not a lot, but there's a few of them. Marvel doesn't really have any of them that really work, honestly.
My thing was, it's my thing is less. I think the reason why people don't like what I say is because I don't give a shit. Right, Miles Morales is Miles Morales. I don't give a flying fuck. There's been Ben Reilly. There's Miguel O'Hara. Like, I've been reading different Spider-Mans all the time. Am I going to sit there and get into a baseless argument about who is Spider-Man? Now, what I will say is usually when someone says Spider-Man, they think Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So, like, me personally, I grew up with that. And my second was Miguel O'Hara, because I read a lot of Spider-Man 2099. I thought it was cool, you know, back. So I don't care about the other things. Like, if you like it, I'm fine with it. Where other people are just like, no, the Falcon is not Captain America. And I'm like, dude, do you, like, if that's what you're arguing about, like, you got problems. You could say Steve Rogers is the best Captain America, but there are other Captain Americas. Now, what I would only want to see Steve Rogers personally. That's what I mean. Like, I would only want to follow because that's what I read. And every single time I read another one, like a Sam Wilson Captain America, it sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go read it. But do I care that it exists? And do I think it's bringing down the lore and fighting this culture war that fucking everybody wants to fight? Dude, I could give two flying fucks less about that shit.
There's also something to be said. Is like, you can only get so much out of 100-year IP that, you know, so it's like they need to move on and they need to build something. You just, you know, it's like Peter Parker's done damn near everything you can do for a character. Superman's been around since like the 30s. It's like, you know, there's a reason why these IPs get stale. It's because you can't do anything new with them. And when they try to, a bunch of these traditionalists are just like, that's not my Batman. It's like, well, Jesus, guys, he's been Batman for like 100 years. We need to, we need to move on to someone else.
Because I think another thing that goes along with it is I don't believe that they can't do it, because there's been examples of another guy getting something like that and being good with it, right? But that requires an actual talented person to show you why you should root for this guy differently from this guy. When it comes to Marvel,
I like Dick Grayson Batman when during Morrison's run. You know,
it's
and
not
I'll say,
and
go ahead. No, I'm going to add on to what you said, MSK, because that is exactly it. Because you know what else irritates the shit out of me? These are the same people that we're talking about that will fucking motherfuck everything. That, except for this character. Oh, except for this character, because you can't say that about a Green Lantern because there's a whole. Well, that shit didn't exist. Everybody always talks about there was multiple Green Lanterns. Well, guess what? Alan Scott's Green Lantern was fucking magic. He had nothing to do with the Green Lantern Corps. So yes, Hal Jordan was the only Green Lantern that we knew for a fucking while until they started bringing in Oa and all this shit. I know this stuff. I've read DC for fucking years. Like, and yeah, Kyle Rayner, I hate to bring it, like people say, it wasn't successful. That's bullshit, dude. When Kyle Rayner first came out, yes, it was not nearly as successful, but people were getting sick and tired of seeing the same constructs, seeing a baseball glove and a punching, they made Kyle Rayner an artist. So like he had a better imagination on what to do. He got out of problems differently, and his books did succeed for a while. So
yeah,
like
I just of like mech suits made out of Green Lantern light and stuff. It was really cool.
And same with John Stewart. It was like, oh, here's a military, version of it. Now, did they work on their own? Possibly not, because the way that people were consuming comics is so different. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it was. It's just not like it was. We have television. We have all this other shit.
I don't know if Warren's watched Power Rangers as much as me and you have, but it works in Power Rangers the same way. Like when people get attached to the very first thing in an IP, and then when they're conceivably could be something better later on, they don't want to like let go of that attachment to that original, which makes sense. Now, because in every franchise, not everything that comes later is as good as the first one. But I find with comic books, it's very similar to like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where people will only really kind of care about the originals when there's other good things that came afterwards, but it's like the thing of like, you never forget your first love kind of thing. That's how I kind of like to see it. Like, I don't believe there's a world that they can't write for characters that have other mantles as a popular character. They could write good Miles Morales stories that could get you to read his books. I'll be honest, DC's proven you can do it. Like, people like Wally West. Guys, Wally West is not the original Flash. That was Jay Garrick. People don't like Jay Garrick as much as Barry Allen or Wally West.
Yeah,
came
years
later.
They DC kind of like went around in weird, the Flash of Two Worlds. Like it kind of made the whole Jay Garrick was like this thing that someone was reading in a book, and it was like, oh my God, it's real, so they changed around a lot of things. But I think the point of it is it's funny whenever it becomes a family, like you have the Marvel family or the Flash family, and then all of a sudden it's okay, right? That's okay. But there's multiple. Like, do I call him Barry Allen Flash? No, I call him the Flash. And which one?
Like
Barry Allen, Wally West.
Which one is your favorite? Like, right. I think
so. If you say Spider-Man, I get it. I totally get it. It's because the Miles Morales books have not been good. But if they were fucking good, it would be the same thing. It would be the same thing.
That's crazy. I don't even think it's sometimes even books. I think it's just movies. People have mostly been accustomed to Miles based off the video.
No, I'm talking about the comic book fans would say that.
Yeah.
The regular fans, of course, they see Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse and stuff that's a successful. And good.
Miles has been around for a long time.
But he's been
movies.
Right.
Yeah, he was in what?
It was like
2009.
It was in the Ultimate Spider-Man, right?
It was at the end of the Ultimate Spider-Man, like a few arcs before Peter died.
Yeah. Because that's another thing too. Is
I have that too.
I also try to think in my brain sometimes, what they're doing with Spider-Man, because I don't think people that don't read comics understand this with Spider-Man. There's you can feel that they hate Peter Parker, so they try to essentially push this new guy onto you. Like the way they treat him is so disrespectful. If outside of like,
so I know what you're saying, and that's what longtime fans say. But Warren made the exact point. What are you gonna do that you haven't done?
Yeah.
What are you gonna? You're gonna keep telling? And I'm so sick and tired of hearing like, oh well, they're the Ultimate Universe or whatever. It's just the same story told from a different way. I'm looking at that Absolute Batman, and Warren, you might be able to back me up on this.
Who's that?
Except for the characters, this is not being told in the same way that they've told Batman. This is not. And they haven't even, people are talking about blowing their load. If you think Black Mask is blowing your load, then you don't know Batman.
Well, I only blow my load a few times a day.
They went out on a C-tiered villain, possibly D-tiered villain, right? As your first arc. And this is all about building Batman right now. And they could go in so many different directions, but it all has to lead back to what was done in the Absolute single or whatever issue where Darkseid created that universe. We have to see what happens with that. If it's still successful, right? If it's still successful, there's no need to go in that direction right now. It's only whenever that becomes unsuccessful, you go, I have my ace in my sleeve. All right, guys, let's bring in Darkseid. Let's start tying this all together. And that I just don't, I can't stand when people are like, there's nothing good new. And it's like, all right, man.
I don't get it either, honestly.
I can't argue with you. I can't argue.
Yeah,
if
like,
that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
Yeah, I'll tell people this. I love Savage Dad, but I always disagree with him when he says there's nothing new that's out that's good. I was like, brother, this thing, but this is how it always will be.
Well, he likes Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, that's
a lot of stuff. Like he because I understand it from a point of view like you guys, where like, okay, so I understand why he says it, because imagine being someone that is invested in floppy after floppy, year after year, year in, year out, another year in. Yeah, at some point, you're probably going to think everything sucks if books just go to shit. It makes sense, right?
I've been doing it. I've been doing it for It'll be almost 40 years.
Yeah, so if you guys say
doing this.
Yeah, so if you guys say at one point, you know what, I think most of this shit is bad, I would believe you, because you've been going in that one point that you do with your job, like one more year, just one more year in.
I'll say this: the overall aspect of where comics are as a whole is not where it needs to be. But there are individual things that are good. Like John's is right now is showing you that you can create new characters and you can create new universes that people want to see. He's doing it. Like, so it boggles my mind with the big two. They're under pressure to make money and to do these things so quickly. There has to be a massive turnaround on these things that I just don't think that they have the creators, number one, in the right spot. Some of them are just not, you should not be writing this character, right? It's not going good. But there's obviously people out there that could write, Batman. There's obviously people out there that can write Superman or Spider-Man. They're just not letting them do that. And I don't know the infrastructure inside of there that they say, okay, you're on this book, you're on this book, you're on this book. I don't know how that works. I've never been in that business, so I don't know how. I deal with money all day. So what I would be looking at is where's the money going that this person is actually being successful? Okay, you are. Let's try you here and put you on our best character because you sell a lot of money. Let's see how that works out. If it doesn't work out, let's move you. But I would have a lot of guys telling the story that affects this character, but it also affects the world of all these characters. Because that's like, you get very disjointed when you're reading one book and like just say something massive happened in Superman or whatever, and you're just like not talking about it whatsoever.
Yeah, like half of Metropolis gets blown up and people in Gotham aren't watching it on the news and talking about it. Yeah.
Correct. I was going to tackle onto your point earlier, which is this is the same thing that applies to, I think, movies and television too, along with streaming. So like, I'll just use it as a comic book example. When people say things like not everything is good, but that's the problem right there. You're not reading everything. You can't read everything because I know how much stuff comes out because I look at League of Comics Geeks every week to see what I'm going to buy from my pull list. Guys, you know how much shit comes out? Not just trades and omnibuses and reprints of stuff. There's so many companies putting out stuff. There's no way you've read everything. I think what happened was people read like constant characters that they were liking, like probably within like 4 to 5. All those titles potentially went to shit at one point, and they just kind of gave up because there's no way no one can really afford to read everything, unless you have the time to not only buy it and read it every week. That's impossible. It's literally impossible to do. You know? Lose
faith, and then when you lose faith, you don't give anything a chance.
Yeah.
Like, I've lost faith in Star Wars. I heard Skeleton Crew wasn't bad. I'm not going to watch that shit.
Me neither.
Because I'm burned out. I'm done with Star Wars. So I think the same thing happens with these guys. They read bad comics. So there was a string of really bad Marvel comics. And then it's like they're not giving anything a chance. Because you can't say everything's bad that's new if you read Transformers. That is
a great book.
Yeah. Batman's great book.
Fantastic.
Ultimate Spider-Man's great book. There's a
Jeremy
lot
Adams Green Lantern run is great.
Dude,
Ultimate
that new Green Lantern run, dude. Ever since me and you started reading it, I am currently up to date.
Has it got better?
I
bought the newest trade came out with
issues
7 through 12. When I get it, we will go through issue 7 through 12. I'll say, people, right now,
it's consistently good. put it that way. It is consistently good, and it's like, okay, we're getting. All I wanted was good stories, right? That's all I want, and the art's great in it, and it's good. But like, I see where people are coming from. Like, I can honestly say, Batman, the regular Batman comic has not been good for a while, right? It just hasn't been. It has not been.
Speaking of Batman, before we go and do the reviews, so we can get to the topic later. Outside of Court of Owls, and I think Man Who Laughs, the one that I can think of. Can you guys think of, because someone asked me this, and I really couldn't give them an answer outside of those two answers, unless I fucking really tried to think harder. Has there been a Batman story that has the word of mouth like Court of Owls?
The only thing that had the word of mouth was Three Jokers, and
it did.
But I was very upset with that book just because the art in it was so good. And I really think that Johns had something that was not what he ended up writing. I think he was pissed off at DC by that point because that was after Doomsday Clock, and they were just like, were just like, fuck you. And he had, if you look at it, the last time people gave a shit, like a lot, was during Rebirth. When Rebirth happened, it was big, and he was in control of all of that. And yes, they didn't meet their deadlines, and it took forever to come out. But as soon as they were like, this whole thing with Doomsday Clock doesn't matter, right? Even though Doomsday Clock is either hit or miss, you either like it or you don't. But as soon as that happened, shit started, it started becoming subpar because you didn't have someone at the helm saying, hey guys, all of these books need to be focusing on a specific thing, but you could write your own stories here or there, your monster of the week, but the main story needs to be this. It all has to be cohesive. And that's, because like Tom King's Batman, I didn't like it during, Rebirth. I didn't care for it. I didn't like it at all. There were some things that I thought were good, but then like it led into Tiny and whatever. And then
wait a minute, you're not going to buy the Tom King Batman omnibus that'll eventually come out where they're going to waste paper on that guy?
No, I mean, I already have all of them.
I have all of it too. I have all of everything.
But, I mean, it's just, but here's the thing. If someone likes that though, I'm not going to shit on them for liking it. Like, that's cool. You like it. So, okay. I just don't understand why do people get so obsessed with, you don't like what I like?
Well, I would like to have a conversation with that person. Like years ago, before
difference of opinion is the best way to have a conversation. If not, you're just sitting in an echo chamber, jerking each other off. Who cares about that?
Like years ago, when I had my big YouTube channel, I would interview like crazy Zack Snyder fanatics on the channel. It was an older show called the Batman Podcast. I could really never understand why they like him as much, but I just wanted to know why you think he was so good a director, why you think his movies are really good. And the perspective I got was basically, hey, I was never really a fan of Superman the way he was, and he kind of gave me a direction of the character that made him interesting. Okay, fair enough. Because people have to understand how we all get introduced to a character is not the same. My introduction was Superman the Animated Series. You guys have been comic books. Everyone's introduction is different. I understand that point of view. But if you were to ask me my opinion, and you say is that Superman to you, I would tell you no. But I'm not going to tell you that's not Superman to you. I don't think, that's, if you're asking me my opinion, it's going to be different from yours. But if that's how you got introduced to the character, that's good. It's awesome. But it's a movie, and I would expect you to get introduced to the character. That's how people get introduced to characters. It's through movies, because they don't have any synergy with comic books.
Well, here's the thing. Back then, it used to not matter, dude, because how many fans became fans of the X-Men through the cartoon? That used to not matter. Now it's divisive. It's so divisive because you don't like a movie. Oh, that's cool that you're a fan, but you're not reading comics. Like, it's like, dude, like, when is it going to end, dude? Like, when is it going to end?
Yeah, it feels like it's never good enough. Like,
Go ahead, Warren.
We got to be careful because one thing about it is that we've monetized discourse and drama. So there's a lot of this stuff. It's just people creating drama in order to have clicks and have stuff to put on the shows. So it's like you get these really weird extreme opinions. Everyone has to hate everything, and then if everyone loves something, you always have that one person doing the stream where it's like, well, I hate this thing that you all love, and you're all stupid because you hate it and I love it.
And then you get the guy. And then you get the guy who's like, okay, I really like this because you all dislike it. And it's like, that's disingenuous, right? That's actually literally what disingenuous is. You're just faking liking
He's
something.
sitting there pointing at me. Meanwhile, how many times did I say, I'm fine if someone likes something that I don't like? It does not threaten me. Does not threaten me.
You let your white rage out constantly.
I let my white rage out at you because you say shit that don't even make no sense. You're all of a sudden I'm talking about Batman, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna let my wife fuck my mouth, and you're like, what happened? What just happened? Where did we go? Where are we?
That's a pretty good idea. Maybe I should ask her that.
You definitely should. It's definitely behind that door back there.
Yeah, it was crazy. People legitimately think this is all of my house. No, guys, you would never need to be in there. That's everything else is in there, all my packages and a lot of other stuff. But I will say this: if you are not into reading comic books, the reason why I would say for you to get into reading comic books is because you will have a lot more ways of exploring how interesting and how cool these characters really are. Because movies can only do so much, or TV shows. That's what I would recommend. Read a comic book of your favorite character, just one. Literally pick one. I don't care what it is.
I'd say pick an arc. Find an arc.
Yeah, find an arc you really like. Because literally, I told people
one is hard.
Google is your best friend. People say I Google everything. Google top 10 best Spider-Man stories. There you go. Pick one. Yeah. Just one. That's all I'm asking. Read about the character. Get interested.
It's also great too because you read Sean Gordon Murphy's White Knight series. That Batman is much different than Scott Snyder's Court of Owls Batman, which is a lot different than even Scott Snyder's Absolute Power Batman. So it's like you get to see these characters fleshed out in so many different ways because they are 100-year-old IPs, and people are trying to just explore different parts of their personalities, and that you get a lot of cool views, like the Grant Morrison when Dick Grayson took over as Batman. The way he handled that was really good read. I really liked Dick Grayson Batman. It's really good. It's good.
Yeah. I got that. Like, and I feel the same. I've said this to MSK before. It's like,
who's that?
Apparently you, but the first time I saw Hunt for Red October, right? And my dad was like, "This is a good movie, but I think the book is better." I went, "Wait, there's a book?"
Yeah,
there's a book of this. I was like, dude, I gotta read this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same. Like, if you get into something, I just don't see how you can't go find everything about that character.
That's how I always am.
I knew there was like all these stories about it. Me personally, I would want to do that, but I'm also a guy surrounded by action figures and giant Supermans and
So,
I
lot of its availability. Like
that's true too.
When we were younger, we went to the grocery store, and if you saw a Batman movie, you go to the grocery store and there's a spinner rack with Batman all over it. Nowadays, kids will watch Captain America and don't even realize it's based on a comic book. It's based on a movie. That's all they've ever seen.
Yeah.
So availability plays a big part of it, especially for the fan who you could become a huge fan, but they're not going to because that opportunity's not there. Because my comic book shop is 30 minutes away from my house.
Same here.
So a 12-year-old's not going to be able to tell their mom, "Hey, can we go 3 cities over?"
Just have that motherfucker walk there, man. That's why when we did that video with me and Savage Jab, where we talked about Dollar Tree having the DC comics there, people said, "Well, what if they're all woke and they're bad?" First of all, that's not true. Second of all, even if they were, let's just hypothetically say they were, someone getting introduced to it is all that matters, because that could plant a seed in their head that makes them want to actually go and potentially get money from their parents and go buy more books. You just need to have it exposed to you. That's it. That's all it really needs to happen. Them being a Dollar Tree is great. And keep on, they're $1.25. If you can't afford a $1.25 book, you're a broke, poor bastard.
Plus, you know what, man? Like, it's like woke is such a word now that it has lost all meaning. It's like now, like I see people like there'd be a black guy and something. They're like, dude, this is so woke. And I'm like, I don't.
Is your brain fried at this point?
Dude, I'm just so sick of people like in their fucking dumbass, like, and they'll never talk to anybody else. They act like they will. They act like they will, but they won't. They won't. Like,
I will say this. If someone has opposing political views and they think you're a crazy right-winger, I'm not going to say they didn't try to reach out, but the reaching out part never happens because typically the party on like the lefter side, from what I've seen, doesn't want to interact.
No, that's very true. The left is the left.
They're not going to do
but
it.
They
man.
don't want to. They don't
I've
want
tried
to.
myself. I've even said, "Hey, people think I'm some crazy right winger," even though it's just not true at all. But
I'm a no winger, dude. Like I am very.
Oh, wow.
I'm in my basement and I follow my own laws. And when I go outside, like the only thing I don't murder anybody. I don't do anything of those crimes. But like before, like when I used to smoke weed, like I'm dead serious. Like I'm not lying. I used to go everywhere. I would bring joints with me. I'd go into the gas station smoking joints. Because in West Virginia, you could smoke cigarettes places. So I didn't care. What are they going to do?
Technically, aren't you in the minority?
By the time that the cops get there, I'm gone. It's like the 40s, dude. All I have to do is not be there.
Get the next town over and you're like free.
I live in the mountains, dude. They ain't coming up my street.
Technically, aren't you a minority? You're a married man in the nerd community. Even though the nerd stereotype is like they're lonely, they're single, they live in a basement, they're incels. It's like, you're a minority in your own community.
I mean, I don't even look at it like that because I don't know. There's something about like saying community that I hate the word. I'm a fan. Too. I'm a fan of comics, and there's other people. Like I've gone to Comic-Con, and you know what I've done? Except for the disgusting sex that happens there, because I'm sorry that happens. I saw two furries or whatever you call them banging, and they took off their helmet things. And it was two of the ugliest people that I have ever seen in my life. But I was like, hey, you found yourself. Good. You know, but besides that,
they probably smell. No, nerds
besides that, like, dude, I had great conversations with everybody.
Oh yeah,
I didn't
smell
care.
is one of the harder parts of going.
It
to
is.
Smell is so
bad. when you first get in and you run for those escalators and it is like pigeonholed and you're like done, you're like bottlenecked. If you don't have like two like battery powered fans protecting your face, yeah, you're done, bro. Yeah. Some of those people have been camping out for a week. And the last water that they saw was, you know, the water bottle that they drank. They didn't use that for anything else.
Yeah, their characters on Warhammer have taken more baths than they have.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know how bad the smell was until I went to Vegas for Evo for a few years back to back. Just disgusting. People need to take showers. You guys stink like fuck.
You went to Evo?
2019 and 2018. So that's when I went. No more again. Once you already do it a few times, you're good. Like that, like the way you feel about woke is the same way I feel about when people mention community. It's like, because that word community gets thrown around and it implies I'm not thinking about bad intentions behind it, but it implies that we all think the same. And that's why I never use that word like community, because I think it's just kind of gay, honestly.
I hate that word.
Like if you're talking to your YouTube community, like if I'm saying my community, I mentioned like people that watch my channel. That's different. But when people are talking about community, they're talking about no, the community feels this way. How in the world?
I definitely don't like those declarative statements. That I may be a fan of said IP that I'm lumped in with. No.
Yeah.
No. Because there's a lot of things that I like that 100% like that people in my community hate. They hate them, right? And I just throw up my hands and I'm like, look, dude, at some point in time in your life, and I worked my ass off. I'm getting near retirement. I just want to be entertained by the things that I've watched. That doesn't mean that I can't sit down and watch something that is provocative in mind. Like I'm not a fucking moron. I do know how to think. I literally use high level math in everyday life. I know how to do it. It's just sometimes I want to sit down and just read a story, read an adventure.
Yeah.
I just want to watch a dumbass movie. Not everything has
Lifetime
to be.
then.
Not what's that?
You ever watch Lifetime movies?
Oh, Lifetime. I didn't. Okay, was that's dude, Lifetime.
Relax. Watch.
Listen, my brother-in-law used to say. Because my sister and my wife used to watch it. He'd be like, "A woman scorned."
Yep.
It's like a retreat to it turns into a deadly game of cat and mouse.
Oh God! Some of them were very good. Some Lifetime movies I watched were very good, but the other ones were just cringe. Let's just say
the worst ones are the Hallmark ones.
Oh, those
Hallmark movies. It's always
a
like
high-powered lawyer goes back to the small town
yeah.
where the janitor guy is now hot and has like 2 kids.
Or he's actually a king, or someone's a princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they learn this message.
Oh God! Remember the one where it was like,
no,
man, back in 2017, 2016, somewhere around there. Man, where it was a movie literally called The Pregnancy Pact, or where it wasn't even an actual like usual Lifetime movie. It was just that they would have 5 girls just convincingly get fucked by their boyfriends and get pregnant, and they were gonna have a pact together that they were gonna. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is weird. This is so disgusting. God damn, man. But nevertheless, we'll be getting to Scott Snyder's deal here in just a moment. But yeah, as I always say to people, if you are a fan of Spider-Man, I would just recommend to you, try to read a Spider-Man comic book story arc however you can find it. Whether you can find it in trade paperback, where it's all collected with the issues you might need for at least a part 1 or a volume 1 or an omnibus. Because I know you guys like reading novels. Well, treat it like that. Get a Spider-Man omnibus. See if you like it. At least try it out. Because for me, I'm able to talk about these characters way more now that I actually read the books even more than I used to before, or I was limited to because, I had no shop. So the internet was my best friend. But nevertheless, because I'm able to buy the books now, and as you guys can see, I have a lot of stuff. And I don't ever go broke buying books. Wink, wink.
I don't.
I just can't. There are people out there with serious comic book addictions and not floppies, with omnibus addictions. I'm like, dude, no, I can't go broke.
I have quite an addiction to certain things.
I think I can see it on your wall. Lap said he was going to give me his Jeff Johns omnibus collection. He said it for my birthday. He's going to give it to me. Thank you, man. Thank you.
You can have it.
Oh,
I'll just buy it again.
Oh. Can you be my dad?
If you want to go through the adoption process.
Good Lord. Oh, sure. Fuck. Before we go, fuck.
What just happened?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Mike Barron write on Wally West originally with a few other people? I think he did. I could be wrong.
Barron?
No. My brain just fried. But, not Mike Barron. Holy crap.
Peter Punisher. I don't know about if he wrote Wally
Peter
West.
David, the guy who co-created Spider-Man 2099. He's having some very severe medical problems. He just went through a stroke, and the Medicaid insurance he was on kicked him off. That's how you know insurance is such garbage. How do you kick someone that old off of insurance? And I get it. Insurance can only cover so much. And hey, the comic book community can be very divided or divisive or whatever word you want to say, but they did come together and donate quite a bit of money to him. I think his GoFundMe is the goal is 75K. He's at 49K. Like Peter David's worked on a lot of stuff people have loved over the years, honestly. Aquaman, he co-created in 2099. First of all, how is someone that co-created 2099, which was just used in Across the Spider-Verse, a movie that came out like a few years ago, isn't getting good money from that? Or maybe he might be getting good royalties from it.
They don't. It depends. So, like in the 90s, they sold a lot of their IPs. So who knows what they gave out to the creators of said IPs.
Yeah.
I don't know how that logistic or the contract was worked. I'd have to see. Yeah. I'd have to look at the actual contract and see how they worded it. Who knows if they got a big payout just to be able to buy it because it was not licensed, it was sold.
Or also it could be the fact that maybe they do pay them royalties, but it just doesn't matter enough because, life expenses. You guys understand? Well, yeah.
It all depends on the contract too. Like just because you create a character for Marvel doesn't mean necessarily you're going to get royalties for that character.
That's what I mean.
That's crazy.
So, if they sold it, it could be they got a lump sum at the sale, or someone gets a percentage of what it grosses or what it makes.
Yeah,
I just don't
you guys
know
the framing of how this, because the framing of the conversation, well, not ours, usually goes like, well, since they made this and created this, well, doesn't that mean that they should be getting all this money? And it's like, well, we don't know what their actual contract was. Yeah, it's work for hire, and if you get paid for the work you do, that's great. But does that mean that you're entitled to money afterwards if you only were contracted for that job? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
The indie company Antarctic Press Ben Dunn has been doing comics for like 50 some years. He's at his Ninja High School is coming up on issue 200. He created a character called Warrior Nun, and he sold the rights to that IP, and then Netflix picked it up and created a live action series, and he received zero because he gave up the rights to the IP. If you give up if someone comes to me and says, we like the Adventures of Sig and Joe, we want to option it for cartoons and TV, and I sell them the rights, they could just fold it, put it into a cabinet somewhere, and never do anything with it. So it's once you sell those rights, it's pretty much gone.
It's like you sell your likeness, what's the word, likeness or whatever as they call it. You sell it, all of it. You just basically give up everything to them.
Well, it depends. If you're a contracted employee for said company and you create things for said company, the company owns it. You may get something while you're still employed there.
Ooh.
If something is there, but if you're not employed there, you definitely don't get the rights to, even if you created that character, to use it somewhere else unless you buy it out or you create the intellectual patent for it before then. But no company like Marvel, DC, they're not going to be like, you work for us, but you're patenting your own stuff that you're writing for us.
It's not going to happen.
They're not going to allow that 100%.
Yeah, but
because then they don't get the licensing deals. They don't get to put it in a movie. They don't get to do this with it, whatever, right?
Yeah, because the average person thinks like, oh, well, he created Spider-Man 2099. He had that Aquaman run back in the day that they made it to an omnibus very recently. It's like, they're like, well, why isn't he like doing well financially? It's like, well, even if let's have to say hypothetically, they are paying him royalties. Guys, you need to understand, comic books don't pay enough money. Even if he was getting royalties, there's just probably not enough.
Yeah, and even if like he got royalties for the movies, it might be such a small percentage because it's not like, 29. It's not like it was like the main focus of the movie. It could have gone in there for
$10 check in a movie ticket or something like
that he had to pay tax on.
What did they pay Ed Brubaker? They paid him. What did they pay him for Winter Soldier? He said Marvel gave him what, a $4,000 check, $5,000 check, and a ticket to the and a invite to the premiere of Winter Soldier. It was him or the guy who did Infinity War.
And you got to think like what we were talking about with Wally West, like John Broome and Carmine Infantino, they're dead. You know what I mean? Like they created that shit back in the 50s. So there's a lot of things that they can do movie, TV wise. They ain't got to pay nobody. They own it. So like
people are looking at it from the novel point of view. In the novel community, that's kind of how it works. It's like
that's different.
That's different. Yeah.
That is so different.
You make your own book. If it sells very well, you get all the money to it.
Because you still own the IP. You sell the publishing rights for the book.
Yeah.
And that's a massive percentage. Like publishing gets what, like it's a 40% or whatever.
I think it is. Yeah.
You still get a ton of that money. And if you sell that, right? The publishing company, I do not believe, gets a piece of, unless it's in the original contract that says like, hey, if you make movies with these characters, we get a percentage of the pie. But if not, then you get all, whatever
I could understand
the deal you make with the movie company.
Like I could understand why people generally think that, because they're thinking from a novel publication point of view.
Plus, look how popular the characters are because of movies. That's not exactly how it is with books, and it's not like it was. Like my grandfather is the one that like got me into comic books, right? Because he was in World War II and World War I. He said a lot of guys that were stuck on bases and stuck in that, they got comics because their family would be able to send them packages and stuff. Like instead of a giant book, you could just stuff a shit ton of comics. So if you ever watch like the shows like MASH or like any of those old shit, you'll see guys reading comic books. Yeah, and like because you could just send a whole bunch of stuff like that. And he said that's how
Captain America punching Hitler cover was made specifically for World War II soldiers.
Yes, or Superman slapping the Japanese, but he said it in a 3-letter word. So
before we go to the review, she says, "Oh, that's the thing. That's a shit by T. Franklin. I just didn't care, and it's not like I didn't care as far as like, oh my god, Marvel, what are you doing? It's mostly like that was it's what Aaron Sparrow said. That was basically canceled the minute it was launched. No one gave a fuck.
I don't even know about it. So
it was essentially a spider girl who's in a wheelchair who could essentially sprout her webs and swing with her crutches off of her wheelchair.
You know, if you're doing Spider-Verse, you need to come up with different kinds of spider people, and I'm cool with whatever they do as long as it's written well. My opinion, I really didn't.
I
think
didn't
I
even know
saw
about it.
pictures of her, but I didn't care.
Yeah, it's one of those like it's such a bad idea. I was like, this is canceled. 5 issues in, 4 issues in. You know,
Well,
you could feel it.
I'll say this. I think in the terms of Spider-Man,
Lies.
that character, you want to be able to be massively mobile for the poses and for the things that it does. I don't know. I can't speak for the wheelchair community, so I don't know if that is something that they want to see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I keep talking about, like with quote unquote representation. Representation now, right? All they hear is woke representation, right? You could say representation like I want more representation in this, and it's like, well, why don't we use the characters that we already have established? Like,
Yes.
why? How
Yeah.
has Blue Marvel not been in a Marvel movie?
But they love black people. That's my thing. It's
How?
like it's all performative virtue signaling.
That's
that they're.
what I'm saying. That's where it comes from with the
But the
woke
fans eat it up. That's my
representation.
problem. Is fans eat it like no, they're guys. They don't mean that at all. They're just fucking telling you what you want to
A
hear.
subsection of fans eat it up because the numbers have shown that it hasn't
Yeah.
been working.
Yeah.
And it's like people will say this, well, people consume things differently now. Okay. Whether
enough.
you want to believe it or not, right? You
Yeah.
look at the Captain Marvel movie, the first one. It made $1.3 billion. Okay.
Masterpiece.
Whatever. It sucked. Fine, whatever, right? But it still made 1.3 billion. People's viewing habits did not change so much that it made 1.1 billion less for the second movie. No, that movie sucked.
So
That's
would
what
say
it is.
It got lucky the first time around.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine, right? That's perfectly fine. It was sandwiched in between two very popular things. Totally understand that,
Yeah.
right? But what about Ant-Man 3? What about this? What about that? The viewing habits haven't changed. It's the movie sucked because Deadpool comes out and it makes a ton of money. Spider-Man came out during the middle of that terrible
Certain
Eternals
thing.
and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. It's just like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
But it also proves it's just like comic book books as well. Not every single person is going to be interested in watching every character, right? So let's just say a bunch of people go and watch Spider-Man. That is not guaranteed that a bunch of people now are going to go watch Eternals or another Thor movie. Or I think that Marvel never got that because they were just so used to everyone watching everything they did. A lot of people just kind of figure out their interest later on, you know, like was anybody really going to go and check out Black Panther 2 as much as the first one? Probably not, because the Black Panther actual word of mouth really wasn't that great, honestly. So you could understand why white people just weren't going to go watch it in the same mass the first time around. Captain Marvel, probably one of the Marvel MCU movies with the horrible word of mouth on it. Probably the worst one out of all of them. The sequel was never going to do well based off how we talk about it, you know?
But
I think that they have to
kind of
get that.
Do 1.1 billion less? Well,
I mean, based on
it's right off its time period. The first Miss Marvel came out, or Captain Marvel came out, while Marvel is on a high. So then everyone goes and watches it, and then it makes a lot more money. The second one came out when they've been doing nothing but stinkers. So it could have been a great movie, and it's still going to perform less.
It would perform less, but not to the point that these movies are still performing, though. They're just making
they're crappy movies. They're bad movies.
Right. That's kind of what my point was, because like if you make like a Spider-Man No Way Home, regardless of how many plot holes that movie had, that was a movie people wanted to see. That was in the middle of the fucking Eternals.
That's the key where you just said it. It's something
that's my argument against.
That's what I'm saying.
My argument against superhero movie fatigue. I don't think it's fatigue. I think it's just bad movies, because Deadpool would have done worse if it was fatigue.
But that's the key, though. We talked about this
it.
last night. That's the character people want to see, though. I think.
But that's that's what they're saying, though. That's what we're saying. If you had good faith, right, and weren't making all these bad movies with good characters,
right, yeah.
If they were consistent, right, and then you made that next one people are going to be like, hey, the first one was okay. The second one was good. I'm going to go see this third one because they've been good. They're not going to go, well, I've seen the first two. I'll just, fuck it. No, if you make good stuff, people are going to go.
I just think for me personally, as you guys will probably know, there's just a lot more nuances to it all because there's many different ways you could tackle it. The thing that I usually say is, I think the MCU years ago was very good at getting people to watch pretty much anything they do. But as people have talked about the MCU movies for as long as they've existed, certain ones, we'll use Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's not talked about good at all. I could, and we said, would it make $1 billion less? Yeah, I could believe it. No one likes the first movie. I could believe no one will go and watch the sequel because no one liked the first one. That's very believable if you go off of just how it's talked about.
Though, people went and saw the first one for weeks. So if the word of mouth was so bad,
it was bad. If you remember, man, do you remember back then when
it was bad, but people were still going to see it. It made $1.3 billion.
But keep in mind, they also felt like they were duped too because Kevin Feige said I think he said it was essential to watching it.
It was essential to watch. Yes, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, you're right in the point of at the time. Warren is right at the time. It was in a high. What? I was about to just go to bed. I was about to just go to bed, dude. Warren's right that it was at a point where it was at a high, right? But we've seen in all sorts of entertainment, period. With the NFL, with sporting events, with UFC especially. Like if you like UFC, right?
Yeah.
If there's a card where there's a bunch of good fighters on it and it's someone that you want to see, it's gonna do a freaking $1 million gate or how many ever million. It's gonna get 1 million buys on pay-per-view. But if you have a card that has subpar people on it, that's not gonna get nearly as many buys. It's just not gonna happen. And people with all this stuff about like viewing habits, while that is true, and there are those people that are like, I'm just gonna wait until it comes on streaming because of how fast that happens now, right? Doesn't mean that
I agree with. Yeah.
It doesn't. And when I say that they're not doing as good, I'm talking about like $1 billion. Not every movie is going to make $1 billion anymore. But the fact that some of these are making like 300 million, 200 million.
I believe it. Yeah.
It's just because they're bad movies. They're bad movies.
Why it's shocking because the quality.
It's not shocking to me because it's been that's 4 years of garbage.
Yeah, no,
when you have a movie that's been reshot, changes directors.
Oh my goodness.
The budget blows up to $200-300 million, and then it's going to be a disaster. When you hear about it for 6 months before the film comes out, it's going to be crap.
A year in advance. It's supposed to come out last year.
The ending of a movie in the middle of filming the damn movie.
That's why I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised when these movies are doing bad. Someone like we use Ant-Man. None of the Ant-Man sequels are talked about good at all. I think they're just trash, in my opinion. Honestly, I can understand why they make less money.
Rough.
Second one is awful. And that third one is just not good. But adding to you guys' point, I could completely understand why their movies have not been doing very well. It's just consistently bad. Not like there's one bad one out of 4. It's like all of them are bad, and we just kind of debate on which one is not as shitty as the other one. That's kind of what we're doing.
I look at Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. That's the one because that was a character that people liked. It got
I like the first movie.
It got attached to a director that people like, and what did they do? They fucked it up. I went and saw that movie in the theater with like 3 friends, right? And they were excited, and I was kind of like iffy because as soon as I heard America Chavez, I was just like, oh god damn it, like son of a bitch.
Boys.
Yeah. A lot of this is if you go like with the wheelchair Spider Girl chick. There's a difference between Marvel saying we need to make a handy-capable spider character. I'm gonna go write me one. Then you're forcing it. It's different than when like some writer comes up and says, "Hey, I have a great pitch for a Spider Girl that's in a wheelchair." There's heart behind that. There's wanting to make it. I think Marvel in the movies and also in the comics are having a massive problem now. Is that they have like a checklist of things that they want to be said in the film, and they're just pigeonholing and forcing directors to try to make it work.
Yeah, they're telling the ideas to the creators as opposed to the creators coming up with the ideas.
Your idea is great, but I need you to change this and this and this because we want this message and that message. And then you start gutting these projects. Like, one thing with the newest Captain America movie, it's like it's not nearly as edgy and to the point as some of the Winter Soldier. It's like, well, yeah, they're trying. They're not directed. There's not inspiration behind this creation. It's essentially CEOs trying to check a checklist and forcing people to make this stuff. So if the character's forced, I don't care what her backstory is. It's going to be shit. But if it means something, if it's real, that someone had an inspired idea, it's most likely going to be better.
Oh, I wanted to point out before we go with the review. I'm pretty sure if you're disabled, you don't want to read about another disabled person. I'm just pointing it out there. They don't like being disabled at all, or any problem with them that they were naturally born with.
I'm not going to speak later on that. That's not for me.
I'm just pointing out that if you're a disabled person, you probably don't want to read about another fucking person who can't use their legs. I'm pretty sure you read that to escape from the reality that you're in.
Cutest video on TikTok right now is of a young girl, probably I think maybe 6 years old, and she has a birthmark on her face that looks just like Todoroki's from My Hero Academia. And when she saw that, it will bring tears to your eyes to see her cute reaction about how this character on the show looks like her. So there is a person out there, if that handy-capable spider person was inspired, then for me, that's worth it. That makes the whole thing worth it. That's kind of the point. The problem is, though, with business, is you can't create a character that's only going to be inspired maybe 5 readers when you have to try to get thousands of them. You have to be careful about who your audience is and what's going along those lines. And also, too, you never want to pander. So I don't know. I agree. I can't speak to what a handy-capable person
obviously, yeah. But I just would imagine that if most of us read this stuff to escape from real reality of life, I doubt you want to have that reality presented to you in front of your face consistently.
Well, that's also the opposite trend of what movies are doing. You used to be able to watch movies to escape real life, but now real life is now coming into your fantasy. It's coming into, and it's not working. It's not working. What's
also in my fantasy? Being a white guy.
No. Be you.
Yeah, be you.
Be the best you can be.
So white me,
dude.
All right, so let's go.
You don't. I'm not even you know what?
We're too tired for this.
I'm not even talking about my times in Baltimore. You did not want to be me.
Let's have some fun as Laps uses his white rage on me. All right. Oh God. All right. One take, one shot, one opportunity, and you not
remember the exits are over here.
This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Knees weak, arms spaghetti. No.
Here we go. You're good.
Right? You want to have some sex? You want to have some sex with my wife that doesn't exist?
You're gonna blow her up after the show?
I'm gonna have real sex with my real wife that does exist.
I'm one of those sad introverts that live in a basement, so I'm just gonna watch a movie and yeah. So
I'm gonna
Batman. Yeah.
I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep after this, after knowing I have to wake up in the morning for work. But it's okay. I have the tools to cope with whatever life throws at me. All right, let's have some fun.
I don't believe that at all.
I don't either. I just said it to cope, honestly.
Go ahead.
All right. After this, we're gonna do our topic really quickly, and we're done. Yeah, we did great so far. Awesome show. Having Warren in adds that dynamic of a black man that we never know we needed, but we needed, honestly.
Right. I'm glad I got to talk to him. I
am too.
You didn't say that about me. Oh, damn. Okay.
I'm never glad to talk to you.
It's nice having someone else to help carry the show.
I will send him stuff on Twitter, right? I'll send him stuff. I'll be like, dude, check this out. You know what he'll respond with? Hi. Absolutely nothing about the paragraph I just wrote. Hi.
God, man. No, I forbid that. Warren's all mine. I keep him locked away in a cage away from all of you guys. You know? Good Lord. Nothing homosexual about that at all.
Articles though about Batwoman in the
yeah, Miss Oracle. It's awesome. But
yeah, that was
Oracle's great.
Yeah. All right. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing the comic book review on Absolute Batman number 4. So if you guys have not had a chance to check out our previous comic book reviews on Absolute Batman number 1, 2, and 3, I would highly recommend you guys go and check out those previous comic book reviews on the other issues of Absolute Batman that we did, because that way you guys can understand how we feel about those issues as compared to this one. So we are essentially one more book away from finishing the first arc of Absolute Batman, written by Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragotta for 4 out of the 5 issues. Because fun fact about this issue, Nick Dragotta did not do art for it. It was actually someone different. Apparently he was sick or something from what I remember.
They gave it to like a 5-year-old. That's what they did.
They gave it to a guy in the Philippines who was drawing on a crayon or some shit out of a Scholastic
Didn't
book.
work for $5 a page.
So far, I think we like Absolute Batman, even with issue 4's art being just horrendous. Just being honest here, the art was
not
so
good.
unbelievably
That might
bad.
be my favorite story out of it.
Yeah, it's saved by the writing.
Yeah, the writing definitely saved it because the art is so unbelievably bad. I could understand why people didn't like this. And I think they didn't like it just because of the art. The story here is fine. My only real issue with it is I feel like they could have just told it quicker, but it's a fine story either way. It feels like it was trying to be Batman Year One, which is written by Frank Miller, but the art just didn't complement it in that way. You know, it was trying to be this like noir crime book, which is what Batman is, obviously. But the art was just, oh my God. There was a page in here I was cringing at. Oh my God. Look at this, guys. Look at that. That's trash.
Yeah,
so thin.
The only problem I have with that is everybody wants, like, you know, they want depth of character. They don't want these thin, but whenever they give it to you, they're like, God, this just could have been told over 2 pages. This just could have been done this way. And they're just retelling this story, and it's like, dude, everything has to start somewhere. Like, anybody who tells an origin story now and like has Batman trying to figure it out, they're gonna be like what you said, like Frank Miller Year One. That's what it is. And that's what, you know, it's like, dude, do you think he just like went out on that first mission and was able to grapple on it and get every guy, and he was like, fucking A, dude, I'm gonna go bang out some bitches now.
Well, you know, and
no, that's not how it worked.
That's what I did. After I was being Batman, I went and banged some bitches.
Plus, you know, Scott Snyder, like this Batman's different because his mother survived, was not part of the deal. The dad was a teacher.
Yes.
And it was much more of a random act, and he knew who the killer was. So you have to try to explain his motivations, how he came to where he is right now, what makes him tick. And this does a really beautiful job of using the situation with his father, where he's working with his dad on the science project, and then to his very beginnings, and then almost to present. And I'm not sure if it's present, but it feels like pretty close to where they're at in the present. And I really enjoyed it. I think Scott Snyder writes the best Batman right now. And I think he understands the character on a really crazy level. And I really liked how they did the pacing on this, how they worked all 3 together. Like, you know, how even that first Batman attack is kind of reflects Bruce's first attempt on the bridge when he was, you know, and it's just like how he got there. It's I really liked it. I thought
I agree.
It was really well done.
I 100% agree, because it gives you the feeling of what you already knew from Batman, and you already have that in your brain, and they're doing it from a different way, obviously, but you still have that connection to Bruce Wayne and what, like you said, what his motivations are. Where is he going to go from here? How is he going to get from what we saw in the first 3 issues to the scene we saw in the zoo? Where does this all go? And I thought it hinged a lot upon him building the bridge. You see this model to this model to this model. You also saw this Batman to this Batman to this Batman.
Yeah.
So as he was the thing that he dreads the most in his life, his dad getting killed. You know, we saw him building the first bridge, and he's like, look, this is what this is based on. And he puts the rocks on it, and it's like, fuck, I got to do a new one. So you see him go out as Batman, and he bites a person. He's like, that shit ain't going to work. And then the next one, you know, he builds a new bridge. And then he's like, fuck, this ain't going to work. And he throws away the gun. And you see all the things that we know as Batman, especially in this absolute universe, you see where it comes from. And I thought that, like you said, I thought it was actually really good writing.
I wanted to take it from a perspective from where the last issue left off, because the last issue left him off where Black Mask was going to offer him the money to be like, hey, you need this money. I want you to stop doing what you're doing. And the reason why he was contemplating it is because he feels, at least in the first 3 issues, that I'm kind of in over my head. I don't really think I can do it. He was looking at the scope of what all this really means later on when Alfred was talking to him. And it feels like with this book, at least with issue 4, they were tying into the notion where it hit at the end of the book, where bats can kind of overcome everything. They're the smallest mammal with all these different attributes with them. And it got to a point now where he realizes, yeah, he might be a little outmanned, outgunned, outmoneyed, but if he kind of just, he's trying to figure out at the core of himself who he really is, can he overcome this? And he even overcame not wanting to talk to Joe Chill, who obviously killed his dad. He eventually got over that at the end of the book. We'll see how it plays out in issue 5. But I feel like it just kind of picked up where the last book left off in a backstory way, which kind of got him to be in the mindset where he is going to end up at issue 5. Like, he's not going to take the money, guys. To be honest, it's
like
not
like how he's sitting there thinking about it, right? Thinking about taking the money. It's like he's almost having his life flash before his eyes and all the decisions he made to get to where he is. And it's like, and you see it, and I thought that it was brilliant the way, like I said, what they show him build this bridge and then this Batman. That didn't work. Go this bridge. It's exactly what he got to, and he overcame everything. And he thought that money could do so much for Batman, right? But if he takes it, is he any better than the murderers on the street? Because look at the people that have been murdered because of the party animals. And if he takes it, he's just as bad as they are. It's a symbolism with him throwing away the gun. If you accept the money, you basically accepting the gun. So yeah. I thought it was smart.
It's Scott Snyder doing his best, you know. Like, I don't love everything he does. I didn't like the Batman, the Metal Justice League. I didn't really like that, but Court Owls I think is a masterpiece on a lot of levels. And I think this here is some of his best this is him kind of doing Batman, but he's not held down by any canon. So he's getting to mold the story himself. And it's like, you know, when you let one parent live, it's almost to the point where it's like, well, why is he even Batman at this point? You see, he has his mom, you know, and then, but no, you're starting to see, no, there is a reason why the almost obsessive compulsive nature that this Bruce Wayne has that's on display even more than some of the older ones. Like Batman, the main universe was like, yeah, his parents died, went on a world adventure, learned a bunch of cool shit, came back and been Batman. This is much more of like down to dissecting of how he became the way he is and what the decisions he made to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really well done.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost as if like you're just going to a psyche. Every single book, it feels like you're tapping into a different part of it. Like the first book was like, he likes to be a lone ranger, but he's really calculated. The second book was like, okay, he's learned all these skills. Now he has this big, massive Batmobile. The third book was he has all these skills. He can do all this stuff, but he's at a disadvantage because he's not the rich Bruce Wayne. In this book, it goes, okay, his dad told him at your core, what do you want to be? Because his dad tells him that story of like, well, I wanted to be a heart surgeon because dad told him the backstory of his grandpa. His grandpa just dropped dead essentially, which is holy fuck. Why is everyone in his family always dropping dead? But his grandpa ended up dropping dead, and the dad felt like I wanted to be a heart surgeon. I should have saved him, but he felt like at his core, that's not what he could have done to be the best version of himself. You know, it was a really great story. I mean, literally, it's awesome. I just wish, hey, DC, if you're gonna get someone to take someone's place because maybe he was sick, Yeah, don't hire someone from the Philippines who will work for 2 pennies for a page. This looks actually like shit. And we're paying how much for this? How much are you paying for this book? $5.99? $4.99?
Don't ask. I bought like 4 different covers, so don't ask.
Laps, stop, stop, please. You're that variant merchant that they're trying to get in their scheme.
It's not that they're trying to get. They've already had me, dude. They've had me for years. They had dude, if I see a variant cover of a book that I don't even really care about, I still like, oh, look at that.
They got this, man, guys. Also, toward the end of it, as we go through the story eventually, the inner monologuing into his brain is really unique, honestly. And the way he talks about the Falcones and the Maronis later on. And oh, God, no, it was really great. I can't wait to see how this is going to cap off at issue 5. Do you guys honestly think after this first arc, the next arc's going to be as good? Or do you think it might get a little, not say stale, it might not be as good as the first arc? Or you think it's going to just kind of like maybe teeter off? That's what a lot of people think right now. It's going to start out really, really good.
I think it's going to blow up because I think at the end of this arc, Joker is going to enter. And we get to see this new kill the entire, Ra's al Ghul's entire group, doesn't laugh Joker that Scott Snyder's writing. And he does some of the best Joker Batman stuff. So it's like.
And we got to think this Joker is like rich. He's an entirely different Joker.
Yeah, he's almost like Batman. But
right.
Assassin.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be interesting. And that's and the play that, Alfred's been chasing this dude for like 4 or 5 years. And he got taken off of that case. So like we don't know how that might team up Bruce and Alfred. That might be the Bruce and Alfred that come together because dude, you don't know what you're dealing with here, Bruce. You might have dealt with the party animals, but now you're dealing with something that you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's going to pop off after this arc. I think it's going to be just everyone's going to be talking about it.
This feels like that episode of TV where the character just needs that moral motivation to move forward and go, okay, this might be kind of crazy to tackle this, but we're going to do it anyway because I can do it. It's awesome.
I think Scott Snyder
might feel cliche, but it's fine.
I think he did it smart because he gave us, Black Mask. It's not really a big villain, but he made it a threat because the whole city had been taken over. And then he took the ground level guys, the Falcones, the Maronis, stuff like that, and was just like, you're done. That's out of here. That's done. And you were able to establish that over so many books. And just having one page of the Joker gets you into the whole mindset of, it's coming. When is it coming? So anybody who thinks it's going to go down, I don't see how you think that whenever we've already seen that Scott Snyder can write Joker pretty well, in my opinion.
And if you notice this arc, issue 1, 2, 3, and now 4, issue 1, 2, and 3 really do mirror what issue 4 is doing. Like you said earlier, MSK was like the issue 1, he learns this. We're watching Batman become Batman in this first arc. And then once he becomes Batman, now he gets his greatest test, which will be the new Joker coming in. So it's this is just the precursor. This is like the part where in Predator, where Dutch and his guys go through and they take out that camp. And then the Predator starts coming in. Well, that's the second act. That's when Joker comes in and just starts wrecking shit. So I think that this is just going to be, this is the nice warm up. You get to learn who Batman is. He's discovering who he is. And then once he does, here comes in the Joker and just fucks everything.
It even feels like he's becoming a better Batman in real time as well too. Like he's just going to improve better too, which is fine.
And
I like that
we still have the trump card of how this universe was created. They have to interact with that somehow.
Oh no, they will. Yeah.
Of course. So that's what I'm saying. I only think that it could now, whether it goes like Warren said, he didn't like the Dark Knights. I don't know which one you didn't like. I liked regular Dark Knights metal, but Death Metal went completely bananas. Like it was so bananas and off the wall. I started not liking the regular Dark Knights metal because of how much Batman Who Laughs they just made so much of it. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just like, ugh, you're ruining something that was cool. It was cool at first. But like, I hope it doesn't go the realm of death metal. I hope we don't get a Perpetua and a Source Ball and a freaking everything. This just needs to be grounded and based, but at the same time, show us something brutal. It needs to be brutal too. It has to be, because they've already established when Batman freaking, connects a freaking thing to his chest and cuts a dude's arm off. You gotta where can you go from there if you're not killing people? You know what I mean? So you need to remain brutal as Batman. And I think, like you said, if they do go right into Joker, dude, that could be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right, let's go over Absolute Batman issue number 4. So it starts off with Bruce Wayne in a courthouse to testify against Mr. Joe Chill. The judge asks him, "What do you want to say?" And then later on, we get that. But that's just
I think it's more not
it.
testifying against him. I think it's more like after everything's done, the family gets to say something.
Sure. Yeah,
I think it's just Bruce wanted to tell him something.
Yeah,
what he ends up wanting to tell him.
So then we get basically the book fluctuates between the backstory all the way into basically the present time to give him his moral motivation to continue in issue 5. You do finally get to see him interact with his dad more in his past, obviously, because we mostly seen him interact with his mom, actually, who's still alive. But it was nice to see him, interact with his dad, and you could tell how much he really loved his dad. So him not being there really, really fucked him over. And, so he tries to take down a bunch of thugs. He appears as a bat. The good Lord.
And it was nice to see him, and Warren, you might think this, I'm not sure. It was nice to see him interact with his dad where it wasn't single moments of, here's your lesson of the day. Yeah. It was multiple conversations.
It was actually nice dialogue. It wasn't
very
just like,
nice,
hey, son.
natural dialogue.
Yes.
It was very, very good.
We always got Thomas Wayne. It's like, yes, we know he loved him, but Bruce, when you're dealing with a situation that's like a heart, and it's like and it was just like, okay, cool. He was a wise guy, but you never got the grounded reality. Here's me and Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
at least that's how I feel about
the
it.
dialogue. Didn't feel like, hey, son, yeah, I know you didn't get that girl at school, but you'll get her next time. That dialogue is not gonna happen in 2025, guys. Sorry about that. Hey, Johnny, you didn't get that apple from the ground. Go get a grape, or a banana and shove it up your ass. But all right.
So there's a lot of great character building. You learn the character of Thomas Wayne more than just him being this kind of good advice giver at opportune times,
Yes.
So after that, he tries to take the thugs down in a certain way. He ends up biting one of them like a bat, and that didn't go so well. They tried shooting at him. Obviously, that didn't work. Then it goes to another flashback. So these are like that one Saw movie, just flashbacks and flashbacks and flash forwards, but it's fine. They actually pace it out, and it's narratively structured very well. So after that flashback, we go into a further flashback where he's talking to his dad about the science project, and then it goes forward again about how he really kind of messed up grappling on the ledge right there.
Well, even before that, dude, he takes the gun from the dude and points it right at his head. Like, he was fully willing to commit to that. And that was a choice that he had to make in that moment in time. Is this where I'm going with where I'm taking my vengeance? Is this what I'm going to do?
And then after that, we get another flash forward to a point where, like, kind of where he's in his mind right now about how he learned everything and about what he was thinking about doing, about how he was scoping out Gotham. Then after that, we get him kind of learning, okay, if I'm going to be this, I need to have vehicles. I need to be strong. I need to be faster. So he had a smaller Batmobile, but he realized, wait a minute, this is probably not going to be enough to take down these people. That's probably where we got the bigger one later on. He's like, I'm going to need a bigger boat. He should have said that. He should have fucking said that, man. Holy shit. So he ends up getting he gets to end up apprehending those villains right there. Then you go back into the past again. He goes back to his childhood where his dad talks to him. So his dad basically said his grandpa died in front of him. And then he felt like, okay, he wanted to be a heart surgeon to save his dad because he felt like he couldn't do anything in that moment. But he felt like once he ended up having his wife getting pregnant with Bruce, he felt like I would be better at my core being a teacher. And Bruce right there is learning about how to make this science project, but Bruce doesn't really know how to tweak it better. And that's where you get the teacher moment at, which is awesome.
Well,
the dialogue was
right,
great,
right.
honestly.
If you look at what reflected in Thomas Wayne's stories,
Yeah.
it also reflected in what Bruce was doing right there at the time, but it also reflected in what he was doing as Batman.
Mhm.
Like everything tied together and came from this. Like I said, like here he's building the second of his bridges, right? And his dad comes in, he's like, "Oh yeah, that idea works better." So what does he do with his Batman? "Oh, this idea works better. I'll get rid of this thing that I was doing. Now I'm doing this idea." And it's every single time he comes back and learns something new, he applies it to what he uses as Batman. And it's I don't know. I just liked it. I thought it was very well
You know what's
done.
crazy? Only really Scott Snyder could probably do this, because there's a lot of writers that would mess up having this many flashbacks and flash forwards and flashbacks and flash forwards in someone's past and someone's head. Like, it's really hard to jumble all that from a mind perspective. Like, as you know, in our thoughts, we have so many different directions our mind's thinking, like in any potential moment. So I feel the balance was very good. And then after that, we have him potentially go over more with this moment. This is the moment, if I forget if I'm wrong, was the moment Mr. Chill wanted to make a statement at this point. And basically Bruce didn't really want to give a statement on that, from what I remember, right? But he felt like when he was with his dad at the zoo, he felt like that moment was perfect. And I was like, you know what? Not crying. Not going to do it. No,
he's
not doing
basically
it.
saying, like, I know Mr. Chill gets to say something, but I'm going to tell you this before you even get to say it.
So then you have another flash forward to when he's older, when he was like discovering Gotham and trying to figure out the people and everything. But then he basically says, you know, what's the part where he's saying to Chill? He says, "You killed that happiness, Mr. Show, forever. So I'm not staying for anything you have to say. I don't care what made you do what you did. I just need you to know that I hate you." That's
and
it.
I love how they're like, "Mr. Wayne, how dare you?" It's
dare-
like, man, shut the fuck up.
I would, yeah, go suck a fucking dick. If that person killed my
dad. Like, what? I don't get to tell him that I hate him. Is that gonna hurt the murderer?
Oh God! But this is how you. I know I love Scott Snyder, but you know he voted for Kamala Harris, and that side of the aisle, they kind of like criminals. I don't know, someone that goes.
I'm not going to say he voted for Kamala Harris. Like,
he
Jesus
did.
Christ.
He posted on Twitter.
Sure he
did.
I'm sure he did, but I'm not going to say that from that.
No, I'm not saying as a knock against him.
That happens in real court.
Oh God! So
watch a serial killer's court case, and you'll watch a whole string of family members calling him an asshole in a row before they do the sentencing. It's like this period between the sentencing time period where the criminal can speak, and also families and other people can speak too.
So then after that, because throughout the book, as you guys have known, as we've said, it goes in his head between the past, where he currently might be at his brain, to another part in his brain, and it goes to the next part in his brain where basically his dad is teaching him about how to tweak his invention, and then it tweaks to the point where he's now tweaking his inventions as Batman. It's very hard to do that. That was awesome to see Scott Snyder jumble all those narratives in someone's brain. That's actually impressive, you know? Then after that, he gets this this called the bridge, right? He got it to, or was it a bat? I forgot what it's called. But he did manage to get it working.
It's a bridge it's a mobile bridge that can be sent into like impoverished areas.
Yeah, disaster zones or something.
Right.
Oh,
okay. It's got like, but it's he made it under the guise in the design of a bat, because he believes that bats are, the most, all the shit that he said. I can't remember everything.
The moral, the lesson in the entire book was that understanding what the bat was at its core. And it reflects that to understanding what Batman is at his core. The first attempt of the bridge was this really rigid, intimidating structure. He was doing, well, I'm Batman, so I'm going to drink blood and I'm going to do all this stuff. And he did the screech when he jumped. He was like, screech.
He totally did screech.
So it was Bruce. It's mirroring Bruce figuring out what's at the core of being Batman through what's being the core of this bridge. So at the end, he's like, I built a bridge that the people can extend out, that they have control over, that they can use the way they feel they need to. And then at the end, it's like, well, what's special about a bat? It defies the impossible, which you said most likely will be issue 5, will be him telling Black Mask to buzz off with the money, and he does the impossible and stops him, you know.
Oh, also to mention, because
Very well
I'll
said.
have to probably say this now because to go back to this. So there's a part in the next page, and I'll have to flip it back. The point where this part is very important, which was he says it even has secret buzzsaws for those hard to reach places. Now, before you read that, you'll have seen him get into these hard to reach places because he learned how to basically, utilize his stealth very well, about how to basically kind of get his equipment to hear what they're talking about, so he can kind of understand where to hit them at, if they were ever going to do anything shady or where they're going to be at actually.
Right. Well, if you look in the page directly before that, that's what he's using in the hands with the hooks. Remember whenever, like in the first book where he was sending out his cloak and it was just whipping people? And we actually see what that is now.
Oh,
it's connected to his hands. And
story? Crazy.
And that's like where he was able to get, he uses that not only to fight, but he also uses that to get into places.
Yeah. Then you get the last part of where the book is at, where the cops are trying to take him down. The part where it says, and what makes a bat at its core for me, is that it defies the impossible. Pretty nice, pretty solid there. But yeah, typical DC always has to ruin it with an ad. DC, why can't this just be fucking next to the other ad? But fucking hell, whatever, man. So then after that, fully embraces himself as Batman right here. But then the book ends with him going to the correctional facility, as they call them, which is just jail, to talk to Joe Chill, the person that he didn't want anything to do with at the beginning part of the book. I'll be honest here, given the narrative of the book set up before that, I wouldn't talk to him. There has to be a damn good reason in book 5 why you talk to that guy. I would talk to anybody that murdered my parents.
If you think he said, I'm not going to stay here and listen to what he had to say. Mm-hmm. And at the end of this book, he's like, all right, well, you had something to say. What the fuck?
Yeah,
was it?
no, yeah. And I like the book, but let's be honest here. If this ever happened, we're never talking to someone that killed their parents. That's never happening. I wouldn't even entertain.
I mean, that's happened quite a bit.
I know. Yeah,
he might end up forgiving him.
Oh hell!
Because the core of Batman is much bigger than his own hate. So it might be one of those things where it's like, I gotta let this hate go. So I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, but you never know.
Yeah, but we don't know. I mean, he could listen to what he has to say and still hold, this, I'm never going to forgive you, but I'm still going to hear what you have to say. I don't know. We don't know yet.
It's Snyder, so I'm guessing it's going to be good.
Yeah, that's just on my own personal preference. I hope he doesn't forgive this guy. Fuck that guy. We know how much he loved his dad.
Yeah, but I mean, he's forgiven him in many different books. It's happened many times.
Forgive him, and since it's Batman, it's very brutal. Forgive him technically, and then kick him off a boat and soak him in blood.
Pay the guard to beat him later. No,
I'm saying, like, he could put him on a boat.
There is something about hate will end up destroying you. Like it is the mission of vengeance and hate. You will eventually end up just destroying you. So Batman's got to be more than just a tool of vengeance. It's got to be a symbol.
Yeah, it's happened in so many different books or / continuities. Like it's.
So you also get the last part where
he says our word. He said Batman cannot let go. That's how Bane broke his back. No, Bane broke his back because he had unleashed a shit ton of villains. That ran around ragged.
Yeah.
All
and already knew who he was and was just like, you know what? I'm gonna make you fucked over, and then picked him up and smashed him.
Just wanted to say this one here is very important too, where he said it's the only mammal on Earth that flies, Dad. The only one. It's this crazy little creature that shows us we can beat anything holding us down. To this bat, nothing is impossible despite what anyone tells you. It says go bigger, go higher. So I guess with this newly found motivation, hopefully now we can take down Black Mask in issue number 5. But that's pretty much it. I mean, you get this little interview with Jeremy Adams that you guys can read on your own. But the point is like, first of all, DC, who did this quality control? We're like literally halfway done with the biggest narrative of the book, which is trying to tie it in. No, ad. Take that ad and shove that shit right where the interview is at. What is wrong with you? You're like immersed in the book, and this fucking company just Go read Jeremy Adams' Aquaman. Oh, well, thank you for butt fucking me as I'm trying to read this great ending to this book. You fucking dumb company. Holy shit, DC.
When I reread this today,
it was over.
I hate you.
Over.
I hate you.
It was over, dude.
No, you don't get it. You don't get my white rage.
Let's not advertise our other books in this really hot selling
book.
You're
fucking gaslighting me. They could have just did it when the narrative's over, not when I'm trying to understand who the guy is. But it's okay. It's okay. I have the tools to cope with whatever life throws.
He said, "Understand who the guy is."
God, I hate.
There's just too much not understanding in this Batman book. It's so many colors.
Every ad, put that shit in the back of the book. I don't want that shit breaking my narrative.
I get you on that. I get
God.
you. That's understandable.
Okay, it's fine.
But
I have the tools to cope. I'm just kidding. But all right, to wrap this up, before we get to something else on this, when you guys are watching this live, but if you're watching this pre-recorded, thank you for getting this far. If you did, Warren, what are your final thoughts and opinions on Absolute Batman issue number 4?
Aside from the art, really, really great writing, really great storytelling. I like this Batman, and I like what Scott Snyder's doing. I hope he doesn't go to death metal level, but I hope he keeps on board, and I'm all in. I'm gonna read this all the way through.
All right.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That's it.
I feel the same way he does. I said it from the beginning.
Yeah. Awesome. As you guys know, for me, it's been a fun, enjoyable ride for this Absolute Batman so far. We're going to be wrapping up Absolute Batman. Hopefully, we can end up wrapping up Absolute Wonder Woman, and then we'll just dive through Absolute Superman. And the reason why he's last is because that's the one I've heard the worst things about. So, kind of want to save the potential worst one for last.
Well,
good God,
it's not bad. It's not bad. It just, for me, the Superman book, like, it just deals too much with the Krypton, and I'm like, he's already over here. I don't really care about over here. They get really deep into the society of how Krypton works in this universe, and it's like, it's almost reminds me of like a weird Charlton Heston movie, like where it's like Soylent Green, almost like
it's people.
Right? Like where it's like, you over here, you work in the fields, and you over here, you are the science part of the community, and you over here, you're the teachers. In the science part of the community, you are the highest of us all, and we must listen to you. Even
are
if
you saying they're segregating people in Absolute Superman? But nevertheless, so far, 100%. Scott Snyder delivering great on Absolute Batman. Can't wait to wrap up this first arc with a nice little finale that we're gonna have here when we review that. But yeah. We'll see where this goes with Absolute Batman. He's big, tall, rich, good-looking, and handsome, just like me. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way, you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're signing out, guys. See you guys later. Goodbye. Peace.
You were doing that all under the table, weren't you? You saw me and you were like, I hate you.
God, I almost broke Onster. I almost cracked. Oh, thank you, R-Worded. I don't know how you discovered us, but maybe the algorithm brought you here. Thank you for being here. And you know what? I hate all of you personally. You're all clout chasing fucks.
I'm chasing that MSK clout.
Are you insulting me?
So wait for
I am not insulting you.
Checks to come in.
Oh God, man!
I am not. I don't.
If you were, I'd understand, because I will give you so much clout, your brain will fucking explode.
My lawyer keeps warning me to not come on the show anymore, but I told him I like doing it.
Is your agent Rob Liefeld?
Hey, you know what? Rob Liefeld in the past few weeks has been pretty hilarious.
He is that.
I'll give him that.
I hate the meme of the old guy yelling at the clouds because, guys, fun fact, we're all weird old people yelling at the clouds, but his is very funny. I will give him that.
It's like he just doesn't care now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He just does. He does not. He's like Kevin Feige, if that is your real name. And he said that, dude. I lost it. He did the whole "if that is your real name" thing. I was like, right, this is getting funny. He is so pissed at that guy. Rightfully so.
Oh God! All right, we're gonna get to our only topic for the night because usually with these shows, it's a review and a topic. A lot of people like the free talk that we have. People love the conversation. So sometimes when it goes longer than it needs to, it's fine. People enjoy the conversation that we have here. Labs hasn't been here in 2 weeks. He left me.
What do you mean?
He left me.
I haven't been on Friday.
I had to hire a diversity
just
hire.
here.
He let me hire a diversity hire. You got casted out of the show for a black man.
You got someone better. So like, what does it matter?
We're getting paid. What you said? Hired?
You got Warren, like who's a bazillion times better than I am.
Oh God!
Thank you.
Oh God! Now you're just sucking him off. Come on, circle jerking. Oh my God! You fucking bastard!
What? I'm a likable person. You get all upset when your chat likes me, and your other hosts like me. It's like
I hate it. I hate it.
Did you hear how like he just spoke to me, right? And you don't talk to Warren like that, so obviously he must be better than me.
You invoked the white rage out of me. That's why.
The white rage. I got it in spades. He thought I was some little dude. It was so funny. He thought I was little until he was like, I was like, no, dude, I'm like 6'2", 250 pounds. He's like, oh, shit.
Once he said he was 6'2", I'm like, I ain't messing with that man. That man just beat me up.
I get rid of all my white rage with weed. So I'm
what I usually do if I'm ever like mad, I'll just eat candy. Like I'll just have okay, I'm cool. It's calm. Everything's okay. Fine.
Ooh, piece
of candy. God, hold the books up.
Ooh, piece of candy.
God, hold the books up. I love. Hi, Sickletron. If you're new here, then please subscribe. If you're anyone ever come by new, please subscribe. I will just tell people this: I've not really cared about basically, people subbing to the channel a very, very long time. But if you do sub, thank you. The channel's already at 1,000 subs. Once a certain thing is off the channel, I'll apply for monetization. And I'll be getting paid through doing YouTube, which is good because we do literally shows every day.
I'll hold up some books. There you go. There's one.
Do you not have the omnibus for that? Because apparently they never did a volume 2 for that, which is crazy.
Yes, they did a volume 2.
They did?
They did all 3 volumes.
Are those hard to get? Because I heard those are hard to get.
These are very easy to get. These are reprints. But the omnibus has things in it that are not in these. So
okay, someone told me those volumes you have right there are hard to get. I was like, oh, that fucking sucks.
No, they're easy to get.
Really?
So yeah.
Gotcha.
So basically, the originals are probably hard to get, right? So what it is like, so when Batman gets his back broken, right? He basically quits for like a year. And he hides in his little cave with what's her face, the doctor. And he hires out Jean-Paul Valley, right? Well, there's a bunch of Valley stories that happen after he comes back that are not in these. But the whole arc of, Night Quest, Night's End is here. There is stuff missing that is in the Omni.
The tie-in issues and all that stuff. So would
it's
you
not
recommend...
necessarily tie-in. I would recommend the Omnibus.
You would? Okay. But those aren't bad if you were to get those, right?
No, they're not bad. It'll tell you could, you could. No, he wasn't healing, dude. He was being a little bitch. Trust me. He was being a bitch for a while. But yes, technically he was healing. But yes, he was.
Oh, gosh. What else is here, everyone? We have...
No, he let it go. He let it go for a while. He did.
It's crazy.
He was all like, fine. I'm going to get out of here and let Jean-Paul Valley, who's clearly a fucking psychopath.
He's clearly mentally deranged. That guy is
take over. I mean, Robin went to him how many times? Like, hey, Bruce, the dude like built a wall. I can't even get in the cave anymore. It's like, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's fine. He's
it's
good.
Like Dick Grayson's called a few times. I have now fuck that guy. No, we're going with John Paul.
Yeah, dude, it was funny as hell, dude. He was like the Brotherhood of Saint Dumas because they're not, they're all very level-headed people. Trust me, dude. I love Batman. Believe me, I have literally. I think I have everything up to 1981, like everything, and then as many floppies. Like this is just a very small amount. I probably have close to $750,000 worth of comics, probably estimated.
Man, it's insane.
I've definitely spent over $1 million in it, 100%. But that's also because I have an amazing job. Then I get paid a dickload of money to be an asshole.
When I had an awesome job, I bought a lot of comic books.
Yeah, see, exactly. There you go.
I
So
think,
you know,
I
like,
think we might have an addiction here. We might have to go to comic book rehab eventually.
I mean, it's just the truth. I mean, I'm not trying. Like, look, trust me, I've had zero money. I've lived on the streets. I've had nothing, and I've had a lot. So, like, you know, my two big things are Jordan shoes and freaking comic books. You know, that's my two big vices. And
Yeah, mine's manga and comics right now. I don't do as much because I'm spending all my money making them. But
that's sick though, dude. Like, that's the dream, man. That's the dream. I had this idea, right? I was so mad because I had this idea back in the 90s, and it pissed me off because, like, I watched anime and I watched Naruto, and they kind of, like, I was like, damn it, they took my idea. I had this thing called the House of a Thousand Eyes, right? And this is like, I have stuff written back from 1992, and it was this group of people that there was this main shaman type guy, and he gave these people powers that they could see through each other's eyes. So they would always go out in groups of 3 and they would fight you, but in a triangle form, because they could see any attack coming because they shared vision with each other. And I wanted it to be like this big thing where each of them had numbers, and they were like, certain ones were stronger, blah, 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 all this stuff. But it never panned out because, you know, I can't write. I can't.
You know, neither can I, but if you just keep doing it, it gets better. Like, you know,
You go from
I've drawn hundreds of pages since I started, and it just gets better if you just stay at it and just keep going at it and just build it and work on it.
Are you guys
But
ready?
it becomes an obsession though, so you gotta be careful.
Are you ready for the hottest banger that is going to happen in comic book history? Are you guys ready?
No.
Okay, I was just being over dramatic, but
No.
the point still stands. Jim, do you guys think Jim
Atrocitus is ready? I'm ready.
Do you guys think Jim Lee's Asian? So I know he drinks soy sauce or he eats egg rolls. Like I feel it at this point. No,
I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, dude. Like, what? Are you
he definitely worked
trying
at
to
Panda Express. He definitely worked at Panda Express in his life. I can feel it, man.
I don't think so, because his parents were pretty, like, well off, I believe.
They're pretty well off. Yeah, he didn't have the no. You go be doctor. Like, Asians are like that. I have met Asian people. I've had some people that are Asian on the show. Their parents are like, no, you better be making me money. So, and to be fair, he has a lead position at DC. I don't know how much they weigh comic books, but fucking hell, what does he do? What does that man do?
We've already went over this, dude. We went over this during the last show.
I don't know.
We're done.
Beyond
we are
Wednesday.
done.
Hello, how are you doing, man?
The
Nice
10,000 hour rule. I agree with you. Beyond Wednesdays, there definitely is that.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then I am a professional comic book reader, and I have been for the past 30 years.
Yes. Oh, Beyond Wednesday. If you're new here, then subscribe to the channel if you're not already. All right, let's go. Sorry, get into our
Yeah,
topic,
you get to hear real good stuff like MSK and me.
Hey, if you guys get a chance, sub Beyond Wednesday. They do really good shows.
Don't sub to these cloud chasers. They're all cloud chasers.
I'll tell you straightforward. Don't sub to my channel. I don't make shit.
I don't make any videos, so you can sub to mine.
I haven't made, dude. The last video I made was for Absolute Batman #1, and then I was like, yeah, well, you know.
I used to live stream drawing on YouTube, and I got 0 views a couple times, and I was like, I'm not doing this crap. I can't do this.
That's because
I just do it for fun.
People always say they want to watch draw streams. They don't, because I think personally draw streams are boring as hell. I wouldn't watch them myself, but
I get more views on TikTok, but that's more just like people asking me about like what the art and all what I'm doing. But yeah, YouTube, I don't get anything on live streams on YouTube.
I started my channel because I just wanted to do something for fun, and like I've had a few. I wouldn't say bigger. They are bigger channels, obviously mine, because I don't even have like 5. I don't even think I have 400 subscribers, but like. They were like, dude, if you edit really well. They're like, your videos are edited really well. You should do this and you could monetize. And I'm like, bro, I'm good. I have money. I don't like, I'm good. Like, I just do this because I like it. And once, if I felt like if I did it because I didn't like it, then I would never do it ever.
And doing something as a job will always suck a lot of the fun right out of it. So you got to be careful of that too.
That's why a lot of smaller creators kind of fall off when they do it, because they feel like they're not doing it to basically do it. They feel like they're chasing an algorithm. But even if you use that as a mindset, that's YouTube though. That really is though. People go, I don't want to be this big creator. Well, chasing the algorithm is kind of what you do to get bigger. But then again, I'm not
I
talking about
agree.
the ethics of
Ton.
it, you know?
Syncotron. Sorry.
You're fine.
God damn it. I gotta put on glasses. I can't.
You're old. Why are you so
I'm
old?
old. Stop it. We already know this. Just because my face doesn't look old doesn't mean I'm not old. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I was born in the 70s. What do you?
I feel you, Laps. I just recently had to go back to wearing glasses.
You guys
too,
are just old.
You wanna know what the funny thing is? I do wear these like an old man though. They're down here. Now I can see your name. Cool.
Hey, I always tell people this. I don't know everything about comics. I'm definitely someone that doesn't know everything. So if someone asks me certain things, I'm just always honest. I don't know. I can't answer your question, but I hope you do find the answer to it. Because there's people that'll be like, well, I think this is like, you can easily tell when someone's faking shit. I'll just be honest with people. If I don't know anything about a run or a character or whatever, I'm just gonna tell you I don't. But I'll tell you, this is what I've heard.
I'm not afraid to get things wrong. I'm definitely not afraid. I've had a few things wrong on my channel, and then the next video I just addressed it. I'm like, hey, I fucked up. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I wanted to do was in my channel was like read more Marvel, because I wasn't nearly as versed in Marvel as I am in DC. So like that was one of the things I wanted to do. I was doing more Marvel stuff, and I got some things wrong and shit like that. And I was like, oh, hey, whatever. My bad, dude.
And doing content like this where we're talking about comics and movies and just having a good time, it's not going to build you an audience as fast as if you were on here doing some kind of drama stream or some kind of bullshit. But you're going to build a better, stronger, and it's going to be a lot more fun building the audience. It might be slower, but it's going to be it's going to be a lot more.
I always tell people this too before we go into the topic. I'm going to be honest with you too. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Marvel and DC are doing everything good. No, I'm not one of those people that are just a shill that trying to get free PDFs to review stuff early. I'm not like that. But I will just say, if I don't like something, like I'll, as you guys heard in the conversation earlier, the MCU, we don't think it's doing very good right now. Like, we're not, but I try to be level-headed as possible. I try to bring up all the nuance and context that I can, but as you guys know, it's so hard to do that when there's many different factors to a lot of different things. But just because we didn't bring them up does not mean we don't think they're a thing. Because a lot of people do that in conversation. Well, you didn't bring this up. That doesn't mean I didn't think it was a thing. I just didn't find it important to bring up in my conversation. It's just that simple. Yeah. If
you want to hear that, go make your own show and talk about it. Right? You don't have
to people always do that. Why don't you guys talk about this? Because I didn't fucking want to. It's just really that simple, honestly. If you want to go suck off,
If you want
to go suck off Captain Marvel, go do it on your own time. I ain't doing that shit. That movie sucks ass, my opinion.
I agree, dude. Like, that's why, if I have my stuff I want to talk about, right, I'll do that on my channel. That's why the only time I ever talk about stuff I want to talk about on here is whenever it's like we're just free talking. But once we're on the topic or whatever, this is his show, like, let's talk about that.
And we're gonna go into that right now. Hey everyone,
and I'm pretty sure I could see the moon with these glasses.
You are white.
Look at this prescription.
Oh,
you can't see, look at it. You can't see nothing.
You're like blind without them.
Well, everybody, let's talk about the old MSK, and he's black. Can you believe there's the black people on the internet now?
There's black people. Oh no! Oh no! Some of those grandpas. Oh no! I'm not gonna say those words on YouTube. I'll get banned. I'm good.
You talk so well.
I can understand all the words you're saying.
Oh shit!
Not all that Jiminy jive.
Shit.
With their hipping and their hopping and their bipping.
Oh my god!
And their bopping.
All right, so let's not get banned. Actually, and hey, I voted for Donald Trump. I did not vote for Kamala Harris. You guys know I'm not for Black Lives Matter, but nevertheless, all right. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Batman Hush 2, which is coming out at the end of March of 2025. It will begin in Batman issue 158. Chip Zdarsky's time is over on the Batman book, actually, at DC Comics, and it will be taken over by your mom's butthole, and she will end up fucking you. Okay, hold on.
Oh, you did it. You did it again.
Oh, there we go.
Just don't do it all over again.
I will.
We
Hold
got
on.
it.
Give me one shot.
We got it. No, we got it. We got it. Hush.
All right.
Gone. And I'm gone. I'm going to bed. Good night, everybody.
You're back. All right.
You going to bed? Oh God. Okay. Give me one shot. Just one shot, man. It's okay.
But you
It's okay.
said like 2 minutes of words.
All right. Just give me one chance. Can you offer your black son a chance?
All
Can
right,
you offer me?
blonde.
Okay. All right. Give me one shot. I got this.
All right, Eminem.
Oh gosh. Oh my God. He's gonna make me. I'm good. Nope. Okay. We got one shot, one opportunity. Okay. Everyone has to mess up in our life. Okay. Let's be
I'm gonna
honest.
grab Gorgu if you don't. fall
Okay.
down.
We got it. All right. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Batman Hush 2, which will begin with Batman issue 158, and that book will be coming out at the end of March of 2025. Chip Zdarsky's time on the Batman comic book at DC Comics is over, and they are going to be replacing him with Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb, at least from Batman issue 158 to Batman issue 163. So, for those of you guys who don't remember this, Batman Hush was a very, very big thing for the ongoing Batman series. You know, some years ago, they ended up doing a sequel series called Batman Heart of Hush, but that was not written by Jeff Loeb. That was actually written by Paul Dini, as you guys know him from the Batman Arkham series, Batman the Animated Series. He has his own Batman Omnibus, obviously, filled with a bunch of stories that he wrote. And even in the Batman Hush Saga Omnibus, they didn't even put in the Heart of Hush sequel in that. So, maybe Jim Lee didn't like that Paul Dini was actually, writing on a sequel story to Batman Hush. And we will be reviewing the Batman Hush and Heart of Hush trade paperbacks before we start going over the new Hush arc. So this book is actually very highly anticipated from a lot of the comic book community, but I did end up talking to a comic book shop owner very recently, and his name was Dennis Barger, actually. So he even told me what I was already suspecting, and a lot of you guys are going to know this too. The comic book industry tends to kind of like say shit, but there's no actual way of proving if it's true. So me and Labs talked about this, and I think me and Warren talked about this too. Remember like earlier last year when Absolute Batman was announced by DC Comics just on their Twitter page? We sold the best book of 2024. But then you realize, wait a minute, in 2024, Absolute Spider-Man #1 came out, and that had way more hype behind it than Absolute Batman. Like, Absolute Batman, as good as it is, and I like it, had nowhere near the level of hype that Absolute Spider-Man, like Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, Ultimate
had.
Spider-Man. I think, like, we saw it sell.
Mm-hmm.
The issues were selling. They were number one
very well,
a lot.
Yeah.
But I think when Marvel announced the new Ultimate Universe, people were like, it's actually happening. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And
because we didn't know
hype
the
behind
DC universe. Yeah,
they've said it for how long? They've been saying this for not absolute, but they wanted to do an ultimate type universe.
Yeah.
How many times?
Like by the time we figured out that DC was going to do that,
we get that. Yeah, we get Earth Ones. So
Earth One.
Hey, the Batman Earth Ones I like. I'm sorry, I thought John did an awesome job on those. But yeah, it's like, is it going to actually happen? Until I saw like concept art and like stuff. I didn't know. Like I knew that, and then teams were announced and stuff. I was like, okay, this is actually
This was
happening. But
legit
by that
because it was just
point,
rumors at the first.
right?
Yeah,
By that point, they already had like 5 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man out.
Yeah. And remember when they announced Ultimate Spider-Man being written by Jonathan Hickman and art by Marco
people were going
Cicchetto?
nuts.
People were nuts.
Yeah.
It was genuine, really big hype there. Like the first printing of that book, I managed to snag a couple of variant covers of the Black Suit one by accident because I accidentally added 2 to my cart on eBay when I was buying my books there still before I bought
That's a good
mycomichup.com. Like, damn, Ultimate Spider-Man sold out so fast, and Marvel had to announce, hey, no, we got some more printings coming. I think it's on its 11th printing right now for an issue 1. That's fucking insane.
Remember when I went to go get issue 14, the end of the Craven arc? Remember whenever I was so pissed when I came on the show because I went there, the comic book shop opens at 10. I went there at 11:30 and he was like, dude, I'm out. I didn't hold yours. I was like, son of a what? It's like 11:30. That shit sells, dude.
Yeah. So to tackle on to your point, basing it off of, variant covers and books selling, what's going to be the real problem here with this is like, there's no way to know if these numbers are real because, guys, they stop reporting on the numbers. Now, if the numbers were very, very good, they brag about them. I agree with that. But they haven't been posting comic book numbers. We have to kind of find out what books sell well on like ICV2, and that only really tracks like what, 200 stores, maybe 300 stores actually, like, right?
Absolute Batman did the best comic of 2025, but it's like there's an asterisk. It's the best Western comic superhero done by the big 2, because the top 10 selling graphic novels of 2025 are all Dogman, Catman books.
Yes,
for Scholastics. They're doing good numbers, but they're still doing pitiful numbers in the scope of what comics have done. And also, even though the whole business is ailing right now, it's still trying to bottom out. And comics, they're doing good, but they're not really doing as good.
And there's another asterisk to that too. To tackle onto your point, we know because it's Batman number 158 with Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb, variant covers. There's going to be so many variant covers for this coming up.
Oh, we looked at it. Wasn't there like 12?
We're going to go over it right now. Yeah, because
there was something like 12 or 13. It was ridiculous.
And all the shops, like your guys' shops,
I will own all of them.
You're going to have the 1 in 25, 1 in 75, 1 in 50, 1 in 1,000. They're making a lot of variant covers for this. And that's the thing is like, they're even going to be printing a giant size book for it. We know that a lot of people are just going to be buying this just because there's all these good variant covers that they want to chase. Now, if the word of mouth is,
but it's also it's also Jim Lee. You have a legendary artist coming out, and we already know that it's basically done. Because think of how long ago they announced it. They had to announce the Jim Lee thing like 10 months in advance.
They said they got him 7 issues in because they know he has tendencies to kind of, if he doesn't feel like he cares for it anymore, he just kind of doesn't care. So that means they got all the way to issue 162 before they ever announced it. They're like, okay, we'll work on the finale. He's already got 7 issues in, and we'll have enough time for that, which is good because Jim Lee has some lazy tendencies. Yeah.
So I mean, that's
I hope this sells well for the stores. I hope this sells well for all the stores out there. I mean, I want it to be good. I like the Batman Hush story. It's not my favorite. It's one of my favorites. It's like it's like one of those things where it's like it's one of my favorites, but if you rank it against other really good ones, there's better ones. Obviously, it's kind of the way I look at it.
That's it. If you like it, you like it. Who gives a shit? It could be your favorites. Who cares?
I also love you, but do you love me? And let's get together and kill Barney. No,
what's who?
I had him there. I had him in that first half. Not gonna lie.
Why are we killing him? Why are we killing somebody?
Oh God! All right, so
God damn
I'll just point it out here. The reason why I typically don't use this website is because Bleeding Cool. Rich Johnson's a weirdo, but he is right sometimes on getting like information out on what new books come out. I don't use this website anymore because there's so many fucking ads that run this website, like Screen Rant and CBR and all the other ones. They run way less ads in the background. That's why you guys don't see me use it anymore. But if I need to use it because he's the only person that has the story, then we'll use it. So that's the only reason why. So let's get into it. So Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb gets 400 400,000 orders for Hush 2 and Batman issue 158.
That's fantastic.
That's very good for the stores,
very
honestly.
good.
That's really good comparatively.
Damn. I thought it was going to peak at like 250K. 400 is actually disgusting. You guys are really hyped for this.
What, Three Jokers had like 300,000 pre-orders or something like that? And that was like, hyped up for what, 5-6 years, something like that.
Lord.
So
only for them to turn it into a DC Black Label book that they weren't obviously trying to make a main canon storyline.
No, they weren't. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. I'm pretty positive John said something else completely. He was going to write something else. And then they were like, no, you're done. And he was like, oh, I'm done. Am I? Fuck you. Look what he's doing now.
Yep. Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb get 400,000 orders for the first chapter of Hush 2 to be published in Batman issue 158 from DC Comics. Also, Rich Johnson, you have a typo there. That's 44. It's okay. It's fine. We all do it. Just want to point it out there. Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb, Batman issue number 158 receives over 400,000 orders. Hush 2, the sequel to Batman Hush, releases on March 26, 2025. Technically, it's Hush 3. Comic stores can access exclusive Batman 158 variants. Look at that. All those variants we're going to have. Good Lord. DC offers a giant size special edition for Batman issue 158. DC Comics posted to Blue Sky. Oh my God. Stop making that a thing. No one gives a fuck about Blue Sky, but whatever. Nevertheless, DC Comics posted to Blue Sky to announce that they have had over 400,000 orders from comic book stores for Batman issue 158, the first issue of the much anticipated sequel to Batman Hush from Batman issue 608, published over 20 years ago with Hush 2. They bleeded. Good Lord. Fucking shit, man. Congratulations to Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee and basically all the team and our amazing variant cover artists for more than 400,000 copies ordered of Batman issue 158, chapter 1 of Hush 2, before adding DC thanks comic retailers for the tremendous response, and fans can pick up this hotly anticipated issue starting on March 26. Also, I wanted to make sure I clarify this for people who don't understand how this works. These are what stores are buying. This is not actual people walking in there and buying each copy individually, but I do think that'll be the case with this when it comes to this, at least this first one. But the stores are really thinking this is going to be a big hit, which is awesome, actually.
Well, I'll be honest. How much of that orders for pull boxes? Which is essentially a comic book shop ordering for for a person. I mean, that could be a lot of pull lists right there. Is that bad?
I would say 70% probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because most people
still
think
have like overhead of what, like 30 to 40 issues walk in.
Yeah.
Also to count the fact that if you
more.
have the Batman ongoing book on your pull list, you were going to get this anyway. It's going to be added regardless, And we know Last Comic Fan loves his Chip Zdarsky Batman run. Just joking. So this cover is just, I love me some Jim Lee. I do. It's one of my favorite artists. But Jim, you so hard phoned it in on this one. This is not good looking, but congratulations for your 400,000 copies order. Jesus Christ.
Well, he's doing interiors, so he's tired.
He's old, yeah. He's so rich and old from all the work that he did at DC.
Chip Zdarsky's Batman. Look at me. I was from the 50s.
Oh, God. Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, man. They have gone all in on this, pun intended, right? Because it's DC all in. Oh, fuck off with those puns. With ratio variants to encourage comic book stores to order more and more copies, 1 in 25, 1 in 50, 1 in 100, 1 in 250, to sign 1 in 608 variants, and at the top of the range, a 1 in 1,000 variant for comic stores who order 1,000 copies of Batman issue 158, signed by both Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb. So I'll probably end up getting the main cover because I just usually typically get the main covers, or at least maybe one of the B or C's typically. I like variant covers. I just don't really always get them. But There's the Dan Mora ones. These look good, minus the main cover. Fuck that one. But these all look really good. It's awesome.
I really like pencil color covers because as an artist, as an artist, I get to see the process. And with the pencil drawings, you get to see a lot of the Jim Lee's process before the inker comes in and puts their own flair on it. And I love those.
DC Comics is letting comic book stores sell Batman issue 158, the first chapter of Batman Hush 2, early from 6:08 p.m. local time on the 25th of March, the day before it is due to go on sale. Additionally, retailers who order at least one 25-count bundle of Batman issue 159 ash cans qualify to order the Batman issue 158 launch party glow-in-the-dark variant cover. This glow-in-the-dark variant cover appears to be a version of the Batman symbol, but reveals a swarm of glowing bats in the dark. Qualifying retailers can order the Batman issue 158 launch party glow-in-the-dark variant cover as an open to order variant. Good Lord, they're going all out with this. This is big for them, actually. Thank you for the ad. Bleeding cool. Thank you. But that's the 1 in 1,000. Of course, that would be the 1 in 1,000.
Here it is, dude. Here it is. The original Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. Okay. That's it right there on this page from the 50s. And this was Batman when this is what was going on during this time, that they needed to bring it back because it was so impactful. So he's basically Superman in a dream, right? And then he goes to this planet X and they have the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. And then
I'm just saying that sounds all uninteresting. All that sounds boring as fuck.
Then
shit.
Then he fights
Godzilla,
the creature from the Green Lagoon in Detective Comics. So, dude, I have read all of this stuff.
You're insane. You're just insane. You're actually mentally deranged.
And that's why, like, when I said, whenever I saw that in Zdarsky's run, because they had done it in Morrison's run, right? But it made sense. Like, his psyche was breaking. The dude, was being trapped. But like, it was so funny because when you relate it back to what it was as to what they ended up using it for, you're like, God damn it, dude. Just because you know something existed doesn't mean it's a great idea to use.
Yeah, we don't have to bring that back out.
Jesus Christ, Chip Zdarsky. Holy fuck. That's why he's not on the Batman book anymore. But additionally, DC Comics is to publish a giant-sized version of Batman issue number 158 by Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair. At art board size, Batman issue 158 giant size special edition is a special widescreen edition of the issue measuring at 11 by 17 at the size that it was created. Batman issue 158 giant size special edition arrives with a standard cover price at $14.99 and a foil edition for $19.99. So you get all the detailed explanation of, what's going to happen. Batman issue 158 giant size special edition cover by Jim Lee. It's the biggest sequel in comic book history, and DC looks to make it even bigger with the giant size version of Batman issue 158. The first chapter of Batman Hush 2 by Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair. This unique version of Batman issue 158 presents the amazing artwork of Lee, Williams, and Sinclair at art board size. Batman issue 158 giant size special edition, the special widescreen edition of the pivotal issue measuring at 11 by 17 and allowing readers to pore all over the stunning details of the breathtaking art at the size it was created.
That's
Retail
pretty cool.
Price $15. Sounds awesome.
I'm probably going to pick that one.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was about to say. I'm getting that one.
I'm not going to lie.
We can talk about that one.
I'm not going to lie. That sounds fucking awesome as fuck.
It sounds really
Just imagine if you turn your lights off and it just glows in the dark. I'm like, I'm Batman.
I just want it at the panels that they draw it at. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's really cool.
Hell yeah. All right.
With all the difference, with all the variants and everything that's going to be sold, it's going to exceed what their pre-orders are, because it's going to sell way more. And that's like we said, not everything can be that, right? But it goes to show you, if you make something that people want to see, people are going to buy it. Now, I understand monthly story. It can't be that all the time. I get it. You have to have your monster of the week or monster of the month stories. But every so often, and if you kept the stories based on what is going inside the DC or Marvel universe, and that culminates into a event, instead of having this Venom event, this Carnage event, this event, if it all culminated into a large scale event, you could actually restart things easier by still keeping the same numbering, but having it pay off overall. And instead of having these giant events that are only 6 issues, you could make them 12. And you could have, like, you know, like how it was back in the 80s with Crisis on Infinite Earths. That was 12 issues. You know what I mean? And that there was a lot of characters that got paid off in that. And a lot of the books leading up to that, you know, you had Crisis on Two Earths, you had stuff like that. A lot of that stuff was building up to that massive book. Everything was like Green Lantern books were, the Flash was, all that stuff. And it could be easily done. It's just, do they have that person at the top that is going to have that vision? I don't know, because Jim Lee, it doesn't seem like he does.
But they knew that he wasn't going to be a long-term solution, but they also knew Chip Zdarsky wasn't a long-term solution.
No, I'm talking about like the president, like being the president. Sure. Where Jeff Johns had the vision of Rebirth. He had that whole vision. Like, this is, we're going A, B, and C.
Are saying he had an idea to build a team? God, man. But here are some of the other covers right here. You have, this one apparently is the 1 in 1,000. So
that's pretty sick.
The Dan Mora one looks so good.
Dan Mora is just, he's freaking amazing.
Oh, God.
The only thing that it's missing is we need an Alex Ross cover.
Retail exclusives. Look at all that. Man, they really went out for this. Holy fucking shit, dude. Okay.
Could you imagine like another like Alex Ross cover where he was like, you know what? I did Nightmare Tales, which I thought was freaking phenomenal. And he was just like, I feel like doing Batman. I'd be like, okay.
Yep.
It's my money.
Here you go. Here's your monies. Take it all. Take my monies. There it is. Take it. You can have it.
Yep. So speaking of that money, I'll take it from you because you're my dad at this point. But nevertheless, as you guys know, the Batman title, at least the main one, which was with Tom King, and then it went to James Tynion in the 4th, and then it went to Chip Zdarsky, and now it's going to go to the fucking man leading the comic books, which that's crazy. I would never think that the Batman title would get so bad. I'm saying I read everything, but I'm just hypothetically speaking from this point of view, where the Batman title got so bad that the person that runs it goes, you know what? I'll do it myself. It must have been bad, guys. Like, Chip Zdarsky got fired by his boss, the guy that runs the company. Now, to be fair, that's how jobs work. But the guy that's literally who should be retired at this point has to come on the main Batman book to kind of save it. And he can't really save it.
It is one problem.
We're rebooting it anyway.
One problem DC has, and Marvel has this too, but DC has it worse because I think they're more desperate, is they don't allow people to cook for a good 100-issue run. They're really quick to cut people off sometimes, and sometimes they should be a little quicker, but there's most of the time it's like you got to really be a little bit more organized and quick. You can't be constantly jumping all over the place with these characters, trying to find something that pops. And then, because like Jim Lee and this Hush 2, well, what happens when he's done? How many readers are retained?
Oh, no, they're rebooting it. They're relaunching.
Yeah, they are rebooting with Matt Fraction, and Jimenez is staying on as the artist.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you, like, you're taking a guy who had technically one acclaimed run and a lot of not good stuff, you know, like in Matt Fraction, and you're giving him a major character. Does this guy have a plan? Is it going to be a good plan?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because I mean, that's like saying like we're hiring lapsed comic fan to write Batman, and I'm gonna be like, fuck.
Because like they knew that Jim Lee wasn't gonna be a mainstay. I told you that they're announcing this. This is gonna be a temporary solution. I knew it was gonna be temporary. He's I like the guy, but he's lazy. Like he's very lazy-ish tendencies. So they had to go get a person that was going to be a more of a long-term writer and a long-term artist. And Jorge Jimenez's art is great. Like I like Dan Moore a lot, but Jorge Jimenez is no slouch. He's very, very good.
No, he's
great,
awesome.
Yeah.
That was the only don't get me wrong. There were some things in the Zdarsky run that was like cool ideas, but they were just executed in a way that I didn't care for.
Yeah.
But the art when Jimenez was drawn, dude, it was awesome. Fantastic.
So, we'll wrap it up with our closing thoughts. Warren, what are you thinking about DC Comics getting the huge orders for Hush 2? And are you going to be reading Hush 2 with us?
I am going to read it because it's Jim Lee. I'll buy Jim Lee, no problem, all the time. I'll probably buy the floppies and the graphic novel once they come out with that.
Yep.
This is kind of like when Stone Cold Steve Austin shows up to WrestleMania. He comes in, boosts up the sales, gets everyone excited. Jim Lee's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't blame him about not only doing like 7 issues, because doing interiors is one of the hardest. It is the hardest job in all of the comic book making process. And it is hard to do at mainstream schedules, and it's hard to do for long terms. Like Ryan Otley, who did Invincible, has said multiple times that he will never be able to do something like that again. That big of a run. So I don't blame him for that. I just think it's cool, and I'm going to buy it just because it's Jim Lee. The same thing with Hush. I mean, the writing was all right, the story was okay, but it's Jim Lee. So even if it's crap, like I'll get All-Star Batman. Just get rid of all the dialogue and just let me see the art.
There you go. Yeah. I'm the goddamn Batman.
He scribbles his own dialogue there. Hey, I'm Batman. It's every panel.
If they made a graphic novel that had no words, I would buy it in a heartbeat because I just want
MSK, have you ever read All-Star Batman and Robin?
I have it over there. I've never read it, but I do have
it. We all 3 of us need to do that.
Please.
No,
you might actually make me just lose my brain.
And I'm gonna go find all the stuff, all the notes that Frank Miller was sending to him. You got it. The context, it will make you laugh.
The context. So hard. I love
it
context.
Will make you laugh so hard, dude.
Oh god,
so hard.
Oh man.
All right, Laps, your closing thoughts on this? Actually,
yeah, I'm gonna. Of course, yes, I will be reading this. I will probably be buying
addictions, sir. Your bank account is not hurting, but you're insane.
I know. I know, dude. I have issues.
Fucking hell, man. It's okay. But as you guys know, for me, of course, we're gonna read this. We're gonna be doing comic book reviews on the trade paperbacks for the first Hush story and the second one, and then we're gonna be going into Batman issue 158. So if you get our review a little bit later, don't worry, we didn't forget about it. We'll get there. And keep in mind, these books are coming out monthly anyway, so we have plenty of time. This, you gotta let me, the Big Daddy Top G Riz Master, cook. And once you let me cook, you are gonna be eating good. But yeah, but let's be honest here. Let's face the facts. We know this was a temporary solution because they're relaunching the ongoing main Batman book anyway with Jorge Jimenez and Matt Fraction. So yeah, I'm hyped for it. Let's see how it's gonna go. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have not already, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to sign out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. And now we're going to wrap up. Warren, what you got planned coming up?
The after show.
The after show. You're old. You need to kind of go rest your back, you old man.
My back and my hips.
Did your grandpa always use the term like porch monkey?
No. No. How could you say that whenever you know that my grandmother is black?
Your grandmother
didn't know
black?
that?
No.
I guess you do. Dude.
I forget stuff you tell me. I forget stuff everyone tells me. I nod and I say I understand, but I'm probably not even listening, or I might actually understand. I'm joking. No, I legitimately forgot. Your grandma's black. Holy crap! Holy shit! That means you're part black. Oh no!
He was married after my dad was born. But I didn't know the other one, so I don't really care.
Okay, Warren, what you got planned coming up, man?
I'm just getting ready to do the Kickstarter.
That's a picture of my grandma holding my baby.
Oh. Get ready to do issue 2 of the Kickstarter for my comic series, The Adventures of Sig and Joe. If you're in the Washington area around Port Angeles, I will be there for the 4-day SquatchCon comic book convention coming up in April 10th through the 13th. It's Thursday through Sunday. And keep an eye on me on TikTok, where I'm live streaming, working on the layouts and getting issue 4 of my comic series all laid out so I can start doing production. Issue 3 is in the final edits. So I'll have all 4 issues of the first arc done by June. So
we'll try to get you
a lot of work.
We'll try to get you some orders over here. I know I'm not on EVS's clout to get you like $10,000 for your campaign, but I'll end up getting.
If you don't give me 10K, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Laps, we're gonna have to be doing a lot of OnlyFans content to get that paid.
Dude, that's no.
No
one's gonna want to see any of that.
That's
why I don't have mirrors in my house. I barely like seeing myself to begin with. That's probably why you have a bunch of mirrors in your house. Because
no, that shit shatters when I look at that shit.
You might fall in love.
I fall in love with how beautiful I look. But yeah, Laps, anything you want to say before we head out, or are you just doing white guy stuff?
Hey, listen. This white guy rage and all this stuff that you keep saying is very not true. It is not true. It's somewhat true, but
is it admissible in court?
Probably not, because I just wouldn't show up. I just pay the fine.
I told someone, if you ever sued me for defamation, I'm just not showing up unless you actually give me a citation.
Do you think I would sue you for defamation? I wouldn't care. I don't care enough. I don't care. I don't care enough. Like, what do you? Even if you turned the whole internet against me, you know how easy it would be for me to just go,
oh, turn off the internet, go home.
I would just be like, all right, well, I guess that part of the world hates me now.
You can't get blood from a turnip, so there's really no point of suing you. Like,
that's true.
You're getting money out of it.
There's no money I can give him. I give you my blood, my plasma. That's all I got. You know?
Hey, that's what the Spider-Man Morbius wanted in the cartoon. He did the plasma.
The plasma. I need more plasma. Hey, Blade wasn't black in that. He was light skinned. That was a light skinned Blade.
I'm excited to read Hush. I'm kind of excited. I get excited for little things like that. Like
that's what brings us joy in our adult lives. Getting excited for little things. I like it.
It is. It's made up of very minuscule moments. Because your day to day is so much. Like I'm just saying, like when you work all the time,
it's
obviously,
true, yeah.
But I'm looking forward to retirement because then I could be like, hey, I have nothing to do all day, so I'm gonna look forward to everything.
Yeah, it's like when Mark Silvestri came back and did that Batman run.
Oh yes,
that was amazing. The artwork on that was fucking breathtaithing. So
how awesome is he too?
For this. Huh?
He could. I said, how awesome is he too? He could just pump shit out left and right. He doesn't even care,
amazing.
Man. That was that deadly duo, right?
Quit the channel and I'll just go work for All Caps Comics. Seems like a very good investment.
I think what's going to happen, MSK, is like all the people that are on your channel are going to form one big channel and they're just going to leave you out of it. That's what's going to happen.
Joke's on you. People already did that before. I'm not kidding. Every single friend group I've pretty much had before the one I had kind of have like now.
Yeah, but is it successful?
No, they were jealous of me for being successful. That's how it worked, I think.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll
never leave you.
No, but I mean, people can only put like people only could put like one episode into their podcast a week. Generally, sometimes I'm blessed where I can just put in multiple episodes a week, and I'm happy with it. And at some point, if I ever do get another job where it takes up more of my time, the schedule changes, and we'll have to kind of make some changes. But I'm gonna just ride the wave until we get enough episodes where I feel satisfied with, and then keep doing more.
Well, that's why I think doing the one meet like the crossover thing we're gonna do on the Wednesday with all the comic book reviewers.
Oh yes. So coming up this week, well, obviously we're gonna be on here for Tuesday for our show. We're gonna review Absolute Batman number 5, or maybe we'll do something different that day. I need to take a break from Batman sometimes. There's so much.
We need to finish it though. Let's finish it.
That's true. Yes, but my wife likes finishing. I'm just joking. So coming up this week, outside of the stuff that's already scheduled, we're obviously on for Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday, me, Laps, Warren, and Savage Dad, we're going to have our MSK show where it's not just going to be comic book based all the time. Sometimes we'll get together, but this one's gonna be comic book hot takes. I have mine. Mine's already prepped, so you just need one, and then I'll think about maybe clipping them out for videos if I really think about it. But I could just not do it or go with the flow and just manipulate it in my editing ways. But comic book hot takes, I can't wait for them. Oh, Savage Jad's gonna be so beyond disgusting. He's gonna make me rage at him. I know it. He's cooking up something good. I can feel it.
And his will be good.
Lapses is going to be, I personally think Gail Simone's the best writer of all time and better than Frank Miller. And we're going to be like, okay, dude, you can have that one. That's not even worth debating. That's not even worth even going over in a conversation.
You see what he's
just, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I totally get it. Yeah.
What? Oh my God.
You have a person that has a treasure trove of knowledge, and you think I'm going to talk about Gail fucking Simone? Like that's what it's going to be.
Oh, fuck.
Listen, I gave you something last week that people should have been going, you know what? He's fucking right.
Like
because
Herpes?
I gave you Thor and Captain America fighting walls that bled bread. Okay?
That's the thing about comic books that no one gets. It's like, guys, comic books
Yes.
at its core are
Warren. Yes.
fun.
And this went on for issues. Not issue. So that whole like nostalgia of comics they were just putting out fucking, oh man, everything was so, lore was not being ruined. How come we don't bring up that one?
Lore was so intricate.
How come we're not talking about that?
Yeah, because comic books never had campiness or fun, crazy, wacky adventures. It was
Well,
always
like, what about
writing.
when Superman made a porn?
Yeah.
No,
you can't write Superman for 100 years and not do some weird shit.
No, the Pink Kryptonite one, where Pink Kryptonite turned him gay. Remember that one?
Yes. Well, that was not just one. That was like established for a minute. But the porn one was the funniest, in my opinion. That was the funniest. That's just.
Right.
He's like, what did I do? What happened?
As you guys know, for myself, we'll have the panel show tomorrow. I think Labs Comic Fan will be there. I think
I should be there.
Yeah, but he might leave me just like my dad. But no, I'm gonna try and get more.
How many times do I got to be on your show a week? Do we got to meet standards and practices with ratings?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Are you quitting? You got a better job you got to be to?
No.
Fucking bastard. Oh my God.
Not really.
You can go work for, I would say Marvel and DC, but they don't pay very well, as we all know. You'd be homeless if you.
I wouldn't work for them, man. Like I number one, I wouldn't know what I'm doing. Like,
you'd be the janitor. You can clean the floors.
I could definitely clean the floors there. That is true. That is true. I could do that. And I would do a bang up job.
Oh, God.
That'd be great. Well, it's good talking to you, Warren. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Labs. It was good.
Yeah, we have to do. Now we're gonna get our Avengers.
Too bad it had to be, through MSK.
All right. So
it's almost like commercial fishing.
There's always silver linings to everything.
Yes.
Why am I always catching strays? I don't get it. But Wednesday we'll have our Avengers meetup where they're bringing together a team. That'd be pretty fun. Yeah.
Savage Jad, be a good time.
I can't deal with that, man. I can't. His hot take.
I like him.
His takes, his humble takes are gonna kill me. He's gonna say something that I know is gonna trigger me, and I'm just gonna die inside. I'm just gonna purely die inside.
Well, I mean, I want to say thanks to the chat. Thank you, chat.
But we all have to get to bed. We're very, very tired.
Talking with chat
next week, and I do mean this. I don't mean this jokingly. I know we're having fun the whole show. I do want to start shows on time, and it's not your guys' fault. It's mine. I'm gonna make sure we start on time so we have more time to talk, obviously. But we'll work on that in the future.
What, you don't think I want to be up at 2:30 in the morning my time? It's always fantastic. Just think if this was like a day of work, dude, I'd have to be up in 2 hours. You don't think I want to do that for you?
Also, keep in mind, we were doing that when Marvel was putting out their terrible TV show episodes weekly. So I know how you feel. Staying up 2 o'clock in the morning to see episodes for 30 minutes that were filler, and people on the East Coast were up to like 5 a.m. Man, Marvel, fuck off. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show.